My name is Aram, my pronouns are he, him, and welcome to Rise of the Demigods. Rise takes place just before the breaking of the world, when the old gods sought to bolster their claim on Calgon by siring demigod offspring to rule it. Their divine children laid waste to whole continents in their name, and many mortals of the realms grew to despise them. Coalitions were formed and armies marched upon their divine creators, slaughtering many of the demigods and threatening the rule of the gods themselves. Desperate to halt this erosion, the old gods called a council to deal with the demigod issue once and for all. It was decreed that each god was allowed to claim 3 demigod offspring. Those who were born on claim must prove their worth through training and trials in the divine halls and magical valleys of the Temple of ELVÖA. Our story begins with 4 such young demigods, ripped from their homes and families by seekers who work for the temple. For more about our story, including pre-orders for the Rise of the Demigods book, head over to demigodsfall.com and follow us on Twitter at Demigodsfall.
My name is Mackenzie Wilkes. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am playing ASTRID ELVÖA, the Wild Elf Ranger Scout.
So,
I'm nervous.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. Pretend nothing's here.
Oh gosh, okay.
So, your character's name is Astrid.
ASTRID, yeah.
Astrid is how old?
I think the equivalent of like 18.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been living in this village pretty much all your life, right? Describe the village to me.
It's very small. It's very guarded. It's full of elves. It's an all elvish village. It's quaint. It's a farming village, I think. A lot of farmers. My home is sort of a little walk north of it, a little further away, so we're removed from the village itself.
So in the isolated village, you're just a little bit more isolated.
Yeah, it's like we're a little more. Yes, for sure.
Nice. How do the villagers see you all in general, your family?
Better now, because I was not very accepted. Younger, I look a little strange, and I wasn't. They didn't really know where I came from. 2 male elves can't biologically have a baby, so I kind of just popped up, and I don't even know how. Speaking of it, but yes, after my feats of protection on the town, I think they view us a lot more positively now.
Excellent. Actually,
yeah.
In this world, 2 male elves could biologically have a child, because how elves reproduce in this world, when the elves were born, the god of plants was born and birthed elves along with them, and in the first forest of the ironwood trees. So every single elf, when they wish to have an elf child, goes and finds an ironwood tree, lays down before it, and sleeps and dreams of their child. And if the forest decides to give them a child, they are given a child. It could be 1 elf, it could be 2 elves, it could be 3 elves.
That sounds like something that parents like tell their kids, like,
right,
and
yeah.
then the stork comes and drops it on the elf's stomach, and the elf has a baby now.
That's how babies work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In this world, it actually happens.
That's actually how it happens. Okay.
So every elf
Well, I take
would
back
have
what I said.
a birth tree somewhere, except for you.
Yeah, let's say.
And they would keep that a secret. They would, of course, not let anyone know that, because that would be weird, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's say today you are with one of your fathers, how's it again? Alvaron?
Alvaron, I think. Alvaron. I just spelled it. I didn't even think about how it would be pronounced, really.
Perfect.
So.
Alvaron. And Alvaron and you are outside of the village, near the feet of these mountain ranges that are at the northern part of the Commonwealth of Vale. And you are kind of like, you can hear the ocean crashing, can't quite see it, and you're just, going through the forest and on a hunt. So just you and your dad with bows.
Me and
basically.
Dad.
Yeah, exactly. What would you be hunting for in these areas? Deer or?
I assume. I mean, with deer, I assume be prevalent. Deer and elk be prevalent. Probably elk. I feel like in more like tundra, snowy area.
Absolutely.
For sure, like elk.
If it's a little bit more open, maybe a moose, and bagging a moose would be great. It would feed people for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
right?
A moose would be baller.
I would like you to roll perception as you're walking along.
I'm good at that. Natural 20 plus 5.
Okay, so as you're walking along, you stop.
My eyes pop out of my head.
Exactly. You see a set of footprints that you know is less than half an hour old. You see where a moose has definitely rubbed up against a tree, and you have a tuft of hair, and you know the exact direction it's gone, and you know it was here less than an hour ago.
I like do that like little slap thing and go, Father, look at this, look.
And he kind of looks, and you kind of lead him along, and he looks at everything, and he just looks at you and nods. And there's this, very, parental look of, man, I am proud of her,
Yeah, she smiles.
And so he steps back and lets you take the lead, and he starts following you.
Are you sure?
I'm quite sure.
Okay. I don't like run forward, but I start making my way.
Yeah, right. You guys start following the
sneaky.
trail.
I'll sneaky type.
Roll me a stealth.
Oh, I'm actually really good at that.
You got a natural 20, so your dad's on it.
9 plus 6, so 15.
Great. So
Dad disappears.
Right, yeah, Dad just vanishes. So your footfalls are quiet. They're crunching through the snow, but you're being very delicate. You're kind of even once in a while finding the moose's footprints and stepping inside those to be even quieter. And your dad is just stepping directly inside yours. Like you have to keep looking back to make sure he's there because he's so quiet. And then about 20 minutes later, you get to a clearing. And in the middle of the clearing is this moose, and it's kind of dug through the snow a bit and is pulling up big mouthfuls of some brush that was buried just beneath the snow line. And beyond it is a thick grove of trees, which you could easily lose it in.
Well, longbow I can shoot from pretty far away. So if I'm within, I think it's like 90 feet. No, 150 feet, yeah.
You can
if I'm
easily
within 150 feet,
Yeah.
I'll very quietly get out my longbow and take a shot.
So imagine if he's right here, and then to either side of him are these big mounds of snow, one on each side. And you can just get him in the middle.
It's like he's framed for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I'll take a shot.
All right. So you kind of look back at your dad. Your dad nods. You pull out the bow real quietly. Lift it up. Roll to hit.
Okay. Oh, jinkies. Oh, 8 plus 6, so 14.
14's going to hit a moose. Yep.
Thank God for plus 6
right?
everywhere.
So the arrow flies out, digs deep into its flank, right above its shoulder. I would like you to roll damage.
Yes. That's gonna be 10 damage.
Nice. So it yells out a cry and begins to run, and then just 2 arrows sail right past your head. One misses, the other one sinks into almost exactly where you shot yours, and you hear it go down just beyond this mound boulder, you're guessing, right past it. And it's quiet.
Dad's a badass.
He's been training for a while, yeah.
I turn to him and kind of get the approval to maybe move forward.
He kind of moves close to you, and you both start advancing. You're kind of walking around, and you get around the edge of this boulder, and you see it lying on its side. Its neck is kind of contorted, and its hot breath is, steaming out. So it's not quite dead yet, but it's mortally wounded.
Yeah. Oh,
and
no.
You hear a shink, and your dad hands you his knife.
Oh. I have to do this.
You took the first shot.
But you took the last one, so you're the one that really killed it.
You want a rock, paper, scissors fought?
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Oh!
It's yours, my child.
You always win at that. You're
I'm
psychic.
Quite good. Well, I know you.
I know you do.
I
never go paper. Why do I never go paper?
Can't believe we just rock, paper, scissors for that. That was great.
I take it. it's hard.
Roll me an animal handling.
Yeah, I want to try to comfort it and ease it through this really shitty thing. That's gonna be a 14 plus 5, so 19.
Describe how you do this.
I want to sort of get, is its eyes open?
Yes, wide open.
Can I sort of pet it and brush it and kiss it sort of on its cheek and try to make its eyes close a little bit and comfort it?
They flutter a little bit, and you're definitely calming it, and it seems to like it lolls its head to the side, almost like into your lap, clearly exposing its neck, almost as if it's saying, "Go ahead, end this."
Yeah, and I once it seems calm and its breath evens a bit, I will do so.
Excellent. You just one quick pull. You're very skilled at this, and you feel the whole creature go limp inside your arms. And your dad walks up behind you and places a gentle fatherly hand on your shoulder and says, "Well done, dear. This will feed the village for a week. They will celebrate this."
Does it feel easier ever?
It's never easy, and it shouldn't be easy. If killing becomes easy, it is because your soul has left you. This is always difficult, and it always must be honored. This creature has given its life for us. That is something we should value. It should never be easy.
That's good. Then I'm doing okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now listen, go ahead and just do a circle. Make sure there's no one else here, and I'll start cutting it up.
Absolutely, Father.
Excellent. So he gets out a bigger knife, and he has
a bag of holding with just knives.
You're right. Just knife. And he starts going at it, and you kind of make a little circle around. I'd like you to roll perception.
Okay. Oh, 3 plus 5 is 8.
Okay, you're kind of lost in your own thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just like.
Yeah, and it is a gorgeous day.
Yeah.
It is bright and clear, and it's that kind of like mid-September. Well, it's not really September. It is the month of Pelon, but it's basically late September, right? And it's just this crispness where you are, this cool crispness, and you can just feel the wind coming down off the mountains, howling a bit, and it's just a great day to be out with your dad.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's like this, like when the wind hits, there's like this like snowfall off the branches. And
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're just walking around for a while, and you hear a howl after a few minutes. Just this lone wolf somewhere up in the mountains.
Does it sound angry or like it's...
No, it just sounds like a wolf call. Like if they almost... You never really understand the wolves, of course, but you kind of imagine that it's when they're talking to each other. Like, hey, I'm here.
How far away does it seem?
Definitely up the mountains, maybe half a mile. I mean, it could be far because their voices carry very far, and the valley is generally open.
Yeah. Can I see my father from where I am?
Yeah, so the circle that you're making is around a clearing. So you keep like passing these boulders, right? And you keep like, you'll see him, and then he'll be behind a boulder, and then you'll see him again, and that's basically what you're seeing.
Does he seem like he's like has a good like bit of time of work to do? Like
he's got probably 30 minutes of cutting and slashing and hacking.
So I have time to go look at a wolf and just look at it?
Yeah, totally.
I love the animals. I want to just go look at them and see.
Absolutely.
See what they're doing.
Absolutely. Okay, so do you want to start climbing the edge of the...
away while Dad's preoccupied. Yeah.
I would like you to roll a wilderness.
Survival or
survival? Yes. That's a 5. Damn it! I never get away from that.
7 plus 3, it's a 10.
10. Okay, so you're looking for a way to get up the easiest way, and you think you found it where there's kind of like, it's not really a path, but if you kind of zigzag a bit, you should be able to climb up as long as you're careful. And it's a little icy and snowy, so you know, you're like, but it should work out.
Yeah.
All right, then I would like you to roll an athletics.
I'm so not strong. That's a 10.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so you start climbing and you're working your way up, and you get about maybe 50 or 60 feet up, and your foot just slips.
Oh no.
So I need a reflex save.
Yeah. Okay. That's going to be a 23.
Yeah, that's going to work.
Yeah.
So boom, you're just on it. You pull yourself back up and you just keep climbing. So give me one more athletics.
I'm literally -1 in the 6.
Okay. You're having trouble getting further. You're not making as much ground as you want to make, but you're only about 20 feet from this one ledge. So give me one more.
Athletics or... Okay. 9.
Okay.
Chinkies.
You get to it. You put your fingers up at the top, and then you begin to slide. So I need a reflex save.
That's 18.
All right. But you're able to find a foothold.
Yeah.
You climb, climb, climb. And boom. You're finally on this like ledge area. You just...
Yeah, that was strenuous.
Yeah. I mean, you've only gone about 100 feet, but it was really hard, right?
Yeah, I'm not... I have my little, like, limp noodle arms. I'm not very strong.
Quick. Not strong.
Yes.
Fair enough. And you hear the howl again. And it's like from around, like where the ledge is, there's definitely a little path. And if you follow the path around, you believe that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, I'll go towards that. I'll try to, like... I'm not, like, trying to hide from it, but I am trying to be respectful of distance. So I don't want to, like... alarm it, because I think she just wants to look at it and just see what's up. Like, I think she just likes looking at the animals.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you make your way around. It takes about 15 minutes, and you kind of get to there's like this little edge where you feel like if you looked around it, that's where the wolf would be.
Oh, I'll do it.
All right. So you look around, and there's nothing. It's just another clearing in front of you filled with snow.
Well, that was disappointing. Do I hear anything? Do I see any birds, any other animals?
Nothing. It's silent up here.
This is boring. And then she turns back around.
As you turn back, okay, so as you're beginning to turn back around, you notice that the moon is beginning to peek out, and it's like that kind of moon that's so bright it's being seen during the day.
Yeah.
Right. So the moon is beginning to peek out around the edge, and it just kind of like gently slides out from the edge of the mountain. And as it does, you notice that one of the mounds of snow that's in front of you is in the shape of a wolf. Just like someone built a snowman wolf.
Like a wolf man, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
That's strange. I'm going to walk up and, like, poke it.
Okay. So you walk up and you turn to poke it, and the head turns towards you, and the eyes flare this purple and pink rolling energy.
Jump back, pull swords out. Like, ready to...
There's a howl, and the thing just collapses into snow.
What the hell is happening on this mountain?
Perception.
10.
You hear a growl somewhere from the valley, a loud, guttural, screeching horror that you've never heard before. And then you hear your dad shouting your name.
Nope, running back, so quick, so quick, so quick.
Okay.
Jumping off a 100-foot mountain if I have to.
Exactly.
Literally.
I would like you to roll an acrobatics as you're going down the mountain.
That's gonna be 15.
Okay, so you're finding footholds. You're running down. It's taking longer than you want. You are so frustrated with how long this is taking, but you finally get out into the clearing. You burst through like the edge of some trees. The branches are smashing you in the face, and you don't care. And there is your dad. Your dad has one arm down. You can see a claw mark into his arm. You can see blood dripping and hitting the snow. And one of these mounds has moved, and it's it's a Yeti. Pardon me. So a Yeti has emerged. It's got a claw deep into the moose, and your dad just has like one sword out trying to fend it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna like flip my swords around and just run and just like double sword slam into this dude.
Roll to attack.
Yeah. 2 attacks or just 1 attack?
Roll 1 attack. Sorry, roll 2 attack, not 2 attacks.
That's good. 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you run up and you slam them down, but you just can't get through the hide as it turns around and kind of knocks you onto your back, but you've distracted it for a moment. Your dad, unfortunately, he swipes at it too, but he's just, and he has to kind of fall back as you can see the blood continuing to pour out of his arm.
And I yell at him, I say, "Run, father, run, run!"
There's no way he's going to run while his daughter's in danger.
Well, he's stupid.
The Yeti backhands him, sends him about 10 feet, and you just see his eyes roll back like it's almost in slow motion, and boom, he's on the ground unconscious.
Does it look like he's like bleeding out, or does he look
He's
like...
still bleeding, but I mean, you don't feel like he's dead. You feel like he could still be helped.
Cool. I wanna. This is a large thing, right?
Oh, a Yeti's about 8 or 9 feet tall. You know, all white fur with like a blue exposed belly. Yeah.
And so it's like me, Yeti, Dad.
Exactly.
I'm gonna try to run and like slide through this thing's legs and like slice it as I'm running to get to Dad.
All right. First, I want you to roll acrobatics.
I'm like a superhero. Oh, jinkies, that is not good. That's 6.
Okay, so you go to slide through its legs and just boom, hit its right foot, and now you're directly underneath it, so you can still attack.
Yeah, I'm gonna like,
there you go.
Oh no. That's 17.
That's definitely gonna hit. So roll damage for both of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
7 plus just 1 modifier because I don't have dual.
Yeah.
So that's 11 damage.
Nice. So as you sink your blades in and it turns, you can see where your dad or someone, but probably your dad, has already cut it several times across the chest. So this thing is wounded. And as you sink your blades into its knee, the leg buckles. It almost comes down on top of you, but you're able to clamber your way out. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do next?
Get to Dad.
Okay, so you run over to him. All right. He's out cold, but he's still breathing. And this thing roars and is like climbing back up onto its feet behind you with its eyes locked on you.
I'm gonna run at it and sort of try to like do one of these moves into its throat, maybe, and try to like scissor its like head off. I guess.
Fair enough. Okay, roll to hit.
I don't know why I'm being so creative with all. Oh my jinkies! It's 11.
11. So you go to get its neck and like boom, with giant hands just clamp around yours, and it lifts you up into the air and begins to pull your hands to either side, and you just feel like it's just gonna rip them right out of your sockets. And then you hear a howl, and it's loud this time. And on that second boulder, you see this wolf, pure white, dazzling in the light of day, almost glimmering like stone wood. And this thing leaps, lands on the creature's back, and sinks fangs deep into its neck. It howls and lets go of you, and it's exposed in front of you. Roll to hit if you wish to.
Obviously I wish to. That's going to be a 19.
That's going to hit. You got the neck wide open. You sink both blades into it. Roll me damage.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be 12 damage.
All right. That's enough. You sink into the back. The wolf's biting onto the... you sink into its neck in the front. The wolf's biting onto the back. You see the creature's eyes roll back. It drops to its knees and slumps off to the side, and the wolf kind of leaps off it and circles for a moment and then walks right up to you. And this is a large wolf. Like, it's not dire wolf size, and wolves are pretty big, but this is a big wolf, and it just sits in front of you. Doesn't say anything. Well, doesn't say anything, but doesn't make any noise. Hello, I'm a wolf. It just
hello, I'm a wolf. Nice to meet you.
Right? That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? And just looks right into your eyes. And its eyes are this, like, weird pale lavender.
I love her. I say, hello, friend.
And the wolf kind of cocks a head and leans in a little bit towards you. Kind of like it's offering itself, like for pets.
Oh, I was
you know what I mean?
Timid pet.
As soon as your hand touches it, you're transported. Not literally, but in your mind's eye, you're suddenly on the top, the very top of these mountains, clear above the ocean, clear above your village. And it is a night sky rolling above you. Every single star is as bright and beautiful as the sun. And this light shines upon you, and you feel a warmth that you've never felt before, and a love and an energy that you've never felt before. And in front of you is this wolf, but it's a constellation of a wolf. It's just stars in the shape of a wolf.
Who are you?
I am your guide.
That's creepy. Why did you bring me here?
I did not bring you here, for we are nowhere. We are within the mind's eye. We are within your divinity. I am nothing. You called me.
He doesn't actually with his paws, but you know what I mean?
She says, I didn't call anybody. I did not call anybody.
Your birth called me. The star that bore you bore me.
We're siblings?
In a way, I am more a part of you, an extension.
This is very strange.
And the wolf nods and kind of like walks around you, and its tail kind of wraps around you, and you feel enveloped in these stars, and it rests its head against your chest and looks up.
All you must know is that I shall never leave you, and you shall never be alone. Your journey will be a sad one, but I will be here to make it easier. But for now, you must sleep.
And the wolf licks your cheek, and boom! You're back where you are. You're kneeling in front of your father, and the wolf is nowhere to be seen.
How's Dad?
Bleeding and still unconscious.
Can I try to I don't have like a healing
Yeah.
anything. Can I try
There's
to like
a
wrap?
medicine. You can roll
Yeah.
medicine. Totally.
I'm gonna roll like a 1 and kill him. What an origin story. Oh, that's an 8.
So, I mean, you're able to, you kind of pack some
Like,
snow into the wound and, wrap it up. I mean, he's not going to bleed out, but he's not well, and you've got to get him home.
yeah, I'll try to hoist him up, and I mean I probably can't carry him, but I can at least one arm him.
As you dig your fingers under him to try and hoist him up, you feel warmth, and the wolf rises from underneath him.
What?
And your dad's splayed across his back, and this wolf looks at you. Now it's a normal wolf again, as normal as it can be.
Yeah,
all white
average
with
wolf.
these lavender eyes, and the wolf kind of nods towards your dad's pack, and your dad's got rope and other things in his pack.
Yeah, I'll tie Dad onto the.
The wolf
Wolf.
just stands there and lets you do that. And then the wolf nods, and you just feel like you should lead him. Her. I'm sorry. You feel like you should lead
It
her.
could be either.
I like it bigger. Her.
Okay.
Yeah. You feel that you should lead her, and she seems to want to follow. And you don't understand what the wolf is saying, but you kind of understand what it's feeling.
Okay. What is she feeling?
Like a bond, like sisterhood, like family, and concern over your father.
Yeah, I'll kind of pet the scruff between her ears and lead back home.
Excellent. So you're walking. Her fur is being stained with his blood, but you get him back in, and your house would be the first thing that you guys hit because it's kind of out the edge. And as you're walking up, the door just flings open, and Frederick, your other dad, comes sprinting out. Right?
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, what happened?
A large creature attacked Daddy. I don't know what happened.
Oh my dear. Oh, come inside. Come inside.
Yes, of course.
And then he's not even acknowledging the fact that there's a giant wolf yet because he's so freaked out.
Yeah.
But he's not. But he's looking at it weird. And once they get inside, the wolf kind of kneels down and rolls to the side. You get him off, and the wolf just kind of stands up, walks past you both, goes to sit by the fire, and curls up. Oh, but you. He rolled an 18, so he has got bandages out, cutting, and boom, he's good at
Papa,
this, right?
do it.
And so as he's getting your other dad stabilized, okay, Astrid,
Yes,
what
Papa?
happened, and what is that?
I wish I knew. I think it's a wolf. That's the starting place.
You think it's a wolf?
It might be snow as well.
Okay. Were you harmed? Were you hit?
No, I actually wasn't.
He's now going through your hair and
Dad,
making sure
Papa,
you weren't injured.
yeah, okay.
No, it's okay.
I'm okay. I think I don't know. We were hunting a moose, and I downed it, and it was really great. And I went to just follow some noises and look around while Daddy, took care of the moose. And I came back, and he was like this, and I killed the thing. Me and the snow wolf. thing
Yes.
killed it, and so it's okay, and everyone's safe. But Dad was hurt.
This creature just helped you.
I believe it did, yes.
Okay, and he nods, and he is a devout follower, so he's not going to look a gift wolf in the mouth, right? And he continues to, bandage him up, and then, well, we should have tea, and makes everyone tea,
Of course.
puts a blanket around you,
Yeah.
sit by the fire, and your wolf, all right, listen, I have to report this to the mayor. Someone
Yes.
needs to know, so
Yes.
drink your tea, I'll return.
Always.
And he leaves and comes back about 15 minutes later. He's like, okay, well, we're just going to keep the wolf inside for right now. Yes.
What's wrong?
Well,
You're worried.
there's some concern. We got into quite an argument, actually. And,
Did you punch him?
no.
He deserves a little bit
Yes.
of punching.
Alvaron's really the hitter. I'm not a fighter.
I know.
I mean, I'd be bitchy, but I'm not going to strike him.
I know, Papa.
But listen, for now, let's just keep this between us.
Are they going to hurt the wolf?
I don't believe so, but let's just keep this between us. I'll
Okay.
make dinner.
All right.
And he goes up and he makes dinner. In about half an hour, your dad wakes up. He is hurt. Like it is a deep wound. It's been covered well. It's going to need sutures. Frederick's going to get to that. But for now, Frederick's just made an onion soup and is, gently feeding him at his bed. It's like, I tell you to be more careful. There's no reason for the two of you to go hunting alone. And he's just going, it's like, I know. Okay. I know.
Yeah, and I tell Alva and Dad, I say, you will never hear the end of it, ever.
And he just nods. And he looks over at the wolf. And he was like, how hurt am I? Because there appears to be a wolf there.
I don't see a wolf. And I smile at Frederick.
And Frederick kind of nods back because he likes the joke. And he's like, listen, don't worry about it now. Get some rest. We'll talk about this in the morning. And it's getting kind of late, so it's about time for everyone to go to bed. Is there anything you want to do before you go to bed?
No, not really. I mean, dads are alive. That's what matters.
Perfect.
Yeah.
At the crack of dawn, there is just a loud banging at your door.
I feel like she is definitely like a, like Anna in Frozen, not she's a sleeper inner, so she's not awake. It's very like sort of energy waking up. She's a slow riser.
Excellent.
For sure.
And then Frederick would have already been up. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Tidying.
Coffee
right?
at 5:30 in the morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's like, 1 moment. And he goes and he answers the door. And standing there is the mayor with his lieutenants. There's a couple more elves around them. And there's this human man, this 5'8", pale blonde hair, really pale skin, like not from this area, and these crystallized blue eyes, and he's holding a staff and wearing robes.
I just might kind of come down, and I'm like, what's going on?
And then as Frederick's like, well, what is this about? My husband is wounded, and it's been a very difficult day, and they're going back and forth for a while, but eventually, all right, and he takes a step back, and the four of them enter your home. The wolf looks up and growls, but doesn't do anything.
I note that so hard. I think I trust this wolf more than I trust these people
Fair.
at this point. I move closer to the wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I
Excellent.
kind of inch my way over there.
Yeah, kind of like a reassuring hand.
Yeah, a little
right?
more on guard
Yeah.
than sleepy. I'm like, it's like waking me up quicker that these
Sure.
strange people are in my house.
Yeah,
That
once you hear a giant wolf growl, that
Yeah.
will kind of pop you awake. It's
yeah,
better than
and
coffee.
that Dad let him in is strange.
Yeah.
I feel like he's
Your dad looks, Frederick looks concerned and is looking towards you now. And he's like, my dear, just give them a moment. And the human steps forward and has a long staff made of ironwood. And at the tip of it is this pink crystal that begins to glow. And as he waves it towards you, it glows brighter. And you hear Frederick gasp a little bit, and he's barely controlling tears.
Papa.
I am so sorry, my dear. I'm so sorry we didn't tell you everything. And then the man kind of gestures, and the two lieutenants walk towards you. Don't stop them, my dear. They'll just send more. We don't have a choice.
There's always a choice. What are you talking about, Papa?
We haven't told you everything about who you are. Just, could you give us a moment? And they nod and steps back. And
I'm ready
Frederick,
to, punch these bitches.
Frederick walks over to you. Your other dad is still out cold.
For sure.
And he just envelops you in a hug, and he's trembling. And the wolf kind of like lets out a little whine, and he leans back. He's got you by the shoulders, and he's like, "My dear, you were born from under the stars. You came to us with a star, a brilliant star that shot across the valley. Your father found you in the forest, fully born, a gift from the gods themselves. We didn't want to tell you, we didn't want to frighten you, we didn't want to scare you, but you are a demigod. And this just proves it.
I am your daughter. I'm nothing more.
And you always will be. Always. You are the love and light of my life, and you will never be anything else. But you are also a creature of divinity. You were born from the heavens, my child.
Sounds very unrealistic.
Yes, it does. And he's crying fully now. He's like tears are rolling down his cheeks. It sounds absurd, but the wolf, the lights, how we found you, this is a seeker. And points towards the human. They are sent from the temple of ELVØA to scour the lands and find those like you who were born from the gods.
That sounds barbaric to take people from their families. I don't want to leave you.
If you do not, others will be sent, and they will kill anyone in their way, including, and he gestures towards your other father, both of us, who would gladly die for you. But we will not be able to stop them.
That's horrific.
It is not a good system. Many things in life are not fair. But I can't stop this. And neither can you.
Can I ever come back?
Yes. Yes, you will go to the temple of ELVØA, and you will train. And should you train well, you will eventually be able to claim your divinity and your place in this world. And then you can return, and we can be a family for as long as you like.
Forever?
Forever. But you will be gone for some time, my dear, and we will not be able to visit you.
Why not?
The temple is exclusive and does not allow visitors.
What if I sneak out?
And then he laughs, and the man steps forward and he's like, "You will not sneak out."
Oh, why were you listening? Who cares about you?
Well, it's not that big of a room.
I know, she's just mad at this guy.
You will not sneak out. You will not be leaving. You will leave with me now, and we will begin your training.
Who are you?
Oh, shit.
I have amnesia. I don't remember who I am.
My name is Roger. My name is Roger.
Well, I don't like you.
That does not matter.
And I look at... What is the wolf feeling? What does she look like?
The wolf is like up on its feet and is glowering at Roger, but is kind of like, all right, fine, like if we have to. And I suppose this is your wolf? And he leans down and places the staff near the wolf, and the wolf growls a bit, but the staff glows. It's like, all right.
She's not mine. She's independent,
Well, she is a part of you because she shares your divinity.
This is very strange.
And he softens for a moment. He's like, I know, my dear. Pat.
Oh, what? No.
I know.
I don't like you. Don't touch me.
Well, look, I know this is odd.
Yeah.
I know this is surprising.
Yes.
But you come with us, or others will be sent to kill you and your family.
Well, you literally give me no other choice.
I do not. That's kind of the point.
I hate this.
Oh, you'll grow to hate it more.
Do I like pack or am I just like leaving?
Take what you need.
I'm like in my PJs.
I'll give you time. Take what you need. Oh, tea. And Roger sits down at the table and starts casually drinking tea. See, the elves always have the finest teas. Lovely.
We grow them in our backyard.
Of course you do. You're such good with the plants. Now, pack up. Say your goodbyes. Perhaps wake your father up.
Yeah, I need to go say bye to my dad. Just wakes up and I'm gone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'll go say goodbye to Alvaron.
So he's groggy, but he turns and he sees you and puts a very gentle hand on the back of your neck. Hello, my dear. You're unhurt.
I am not at all. I'm amazing in a fight, Dad. I didn't get hit at all.
You always were. You did very well. I'm so proud of you.
You did too. I mean, other than the almost dying part.
Yes, that was unfortunate. But and he kind of moves his arm, and you just see like the pain come over his face. Like, but I've had worse. I'll be okay.
It's probably too soon to joke, right?
No, not with this dad. Alvaron's always up for
fun
a joke.
Dad,
yeah,
fun dad.
exactly. Exactly. Frederick is concerned dad. Alvaron's fun dad.
Fun dad, yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dad, something stupid's happened.
I know. I've been listening.
Oh, look at you.
Well, he was he was, and you see off to his side, like he's got a sword in the bed, right? So he was ready, yeah, and he kind of tucks it back under, and he's like, I've been listening, and I wish to give you something before you leave. Under the bed, get the carved box that I've told you to never open. Pull it out.
I'm now realizing a lot of my life's been very vague, including this box, and I pull the box out.
Excellent. Open it. I really can't.
Yeah. Is it just open?
Yeah,
it's
just open. It's
okay.
It's not locked. They trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I open it up.
So you open it up, and inside are a pair of beautiful swords, just gorgeous with these moon and sun patterns. I believe that's what it was, moon and sun, right? Yeah, these moon and sun patterns carved into the into the hilt in this glimmering metal that almost looks like white gold. And as you pick them up, they feel perfectly balanced, and they glow ever so slightly with magic. This was always going to be yours. They belonged to my father and his father before them. They were forged from the first trees, in the fires of the first trees, and with the first metals of the elves. They will help you on your journey. Take them with my blessing.
And I jump on him with a hug before realizing he's sorry,
okay.
Dad, sorry.
I love you so much, my dear. I would change nothing.
Thank you.
I want you to remember us and know that we will always be here. I am your sun, and Frederick is your moon, and we shall be with you in all times, forever.
I'll be back soon, Dad.
Yes, you will.
Don't have to be so dramatic.
Be strong, my dear. Be well, and come home.
Anytime.
And he just kind of his eyes flutter a bit, and he lays back. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so
No, rest.
And
Is there a wet
out.
rag near,
totally.
and I put it on his forehead?
Yeah, he's not running a fever, thank goodness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's definitely exhausted.
Yeah.
So, you do that. You hear a cup hit a saucer. He's like, I believe I can do one more. We are packing, dear, aren't we?
Yep, just 5 more minutes. Through
All right.
gritted teeth. She totally hates this dude.
He's like, so Frederick, tell me about your quaint little village. And Frederick is just giving him bitch energy right back, but
Yes.
but being nice because
He could kill.
because you got to go
us.
with her, exactly, yeah. And so 5 minutes later, you're packed up and ready to go.
I put my old swords on my bed and put my new swords in my sheaths.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Frederick, just eyes red at this point, runs up, just gives you a big, huge hug, kisses you on the cheek, and is like, we could never be prouder of you. And I am sure that you are going to give them one hell of a fight.
Oh, absolutely.
Come back to us, my dear. I will take care of your father.
Please.
He nods, and the gentleman stands up. Roger, as we've decided to call him.
Roger.
Roger stands
Classic
up,
Roger.
drains the last of his cup. That was lovely. All right, my dear. Let's go.
I scowl at him so hard.
The wolf does too. Like
Yes.
both you and the wolf are just staring anger at him.
Daggers. She doesn't dislike many people, but she dislikes this guy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And you guys walk out the front door, and in the clearing in front of you is an airship. And you've never, like about 500 feet down is a kind of small airship, but it's an airship. And you've
Yeah.
heard of them, but you've never seen one before. And it's like, and like the props at the side are gently spinning, and there's this large central area clearly filled with some sort of air. And the front entrance, like the front ramp, is like lowered and biting into the snow. There's several men around it that are dressed in the same colors and robes that the other one is, and they've like tied down ropes to keep it in place, and just gestures towards it. Ever flown before, my dear?
No, I've climbed mountains, but that's not at all the same thing.
No, it's not. Let's go. And he walks you onto the airship. They, he towards the men around it. They start pulling up. They start to cut ropes and roll them back in. They all join you inside like this large area where there's some seats and some tables, and then the ramp is winched up and it takes off. There's a couple portholes next to you where you can just see your village slowly falling away beneath you as the ship rises, turns, and begins to head south. We're going to stop right there.
Alrighty.
Excellent.
Hi, my name is Nikki. My pronouns are they, them, or him, his, and I am playing Saint Barb, the human monk. The human monk. The only human monk ever to exist.
So, Barb is out in the cemetery at night, and they are tending to the various shrines. There's shrines both to the dead and also to various important people that have died in town or just outside of town, and to various gods amongst the area. There's even a shrine to the god of Sito, despite the fact that the god of storms caused a lot of the damage that is responsible for this cemetery. But you know how people are. They fear gods and put shrines into them. So you get to that shrine, and you're supposed to lay fresh seaweed over the sides of it, over where his shoulders are.
I check in my bag for some fresh seaweed, and I find 3 strips, and I look back at the piece of paper I have that says like the exact order and like formation of everything, and it says 4 strips are required, and so I take 3 of the strips that were already there and replace those 3 with fresh ones, and try to find some sort of water source to like wet the other technically now old piece of seaweed.
Oh yeah, there's actually, so in front of it, along with the seaweed, is a urn or a cistern that has seawater in it.
Yeah, so I take that old seaweed and I just like dip it in a little bit, and I'll be like, that's good enough. And just lay it back out and like pull out my piece of paper again to double check if the formation is right, and it's good enough.
Yeah, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the distance, there's a rumble of thunder, which catches you off guard for a sec. Could be a coincidence.
I'd get more seawater and pour it on, and hope that, okay, now it's good.
Yeah. So
That's probably what they were wanting.
yeah, it looks good. No more thunder.
Okay, cool.
We're good to go. The next shrine is the god of death, and it is this tall, towering figure in a loose cape that is bunched at the middle and then splays off the shoulders, and there's just this one hand extended that ends in a bony finger as it stares off with a blank face because it's hooded and you really can't see it, and points towards the sea.
Check my piece of paper.
Yep. This one requires a lotus flower and the berries of what's the thing that killed? What's those berries where you mash it up and it's basically a poison? What am I thinking about?
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say? I think it killed Socrates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that is. They
Yeah.
want a bunch of those berries mashed in like a little thing, right?
Okay.
And then just kind of poured over the top.
Okay. So I have that. I have the berries. I start mashing them, and I'm reading the piece of paper, and I see that it just says poured over the top, and it doesn't necessarily like clarify where.
Right.
And so I have a moment where it's one of those long moments that the children see me and think like that thing is not moving.
Because you just freeze.
Yeah, I just freeze, and I think, where is the top? And I see the pointed finger, and I just take some of the mush and just like along like the top of the index finger and assume that's probably what they meant.
Excellent. And where do you put the lotus flower?
Definitely, I think I try to put it on top, but it falls off quickly.
Right.
And I'm like, no. What's the anything for a head there?
Just a huge cloak covering the head, and you can't see the face.
Is there like some like bunched up
Yeah,
clothing made of stone? I assume.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
like if it's made of
Yeah,
stone,
lots of little places.
I can just put it like right there.
Yeah, like a boutonniere.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's the little thing you put on a suit, like when you go to like prom or shit.
Yeah.
You know. I dropped out of high school. I don't know.
I never went to a real prom. I went to 4 fake ones.
Right, so we have no idea.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So you put it there, and you put a little bit of the berry juice and crushed up berries on the finger, right? Okay, you're doing well. Excellent. So I would like you to roll perception.
I got my own dice.
Oh, you have your own dice.
I have my own dice.
Pardon me.
Dust flies off.
Oh, those are nice.
Thanks.
I like those.
Thanks. They've always been my favorite so far.
Nice. Let's see if they do you well.
Yeah, this is my favorite because they give me just ass results.
Wow, natural 20. All right, so
That will be my role for the rest of the campaign.
you hear what sounds like a whisper come from the statue. You can't quite make it out, so you kind of lean in a bit, and it says, "Behind you." And you turn around, I assume, or look around.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
I would honestly want some sort of protection first.
Yeah.
Before I'm even aware of what it is.
Yeah.
And
so
so
all you have on you at the time, because you don't know your abilities yet.
What is there any way to go behind the statue?
Oh yeah, totally.
I first go behind the statue.
Yeah.
And then look from behind that
Okay.
statue to what was behind me.
Perfect. So you kind of duck behind, look around the folds of the robe, and there's 3 of these kids that have been like picking on you pretty relentlessly, and they all have sticks in their hand, and they're walking up towards where you are, and now they're kind of looking around, and they start whacking on the headstones, and like, "Come on, Saint Barb. Come on, Saint Barb," and like just kind of obviously with malice in their hearts.
Okay. I pull my beanie further down so it's almost covering my eyes, but I can still see like in front of me a decent amount.
Yeah.
And I outstretch my hands, and I walk out from behind the statue.
All right.
And as I'm leaving, I say to the space that I was just in, we'll continue this later. And I kind of just like strike a pose.
Yeah. And so they don't see you at first because you're just so quiet and silent. But eventually the lead guy does. And he's like, there. And they kind of start walking towards you. And the one dude is beating his stick against his hand. And he's like, where you been, freak?
I don't answer.
All right. Excellent. They start. So the one guy walks up to you. The other two circle around.
You say these are kids?
Kids, but like 16, 17.
Oh, so they're my age.
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Jerks, basically.
Jerks,
Yeah,
yeah.
jerks. The other two circle around, so they're on either side of you now, and you're kind of with your back to the statue. And the one guy just shoves you really hard in the chest. And he's like, what have you been doing in here, freak? And like pushing and pushing at you.
I pull out the piece of paper and I say, I've been doing quite a lot. Almost done, but that's just the way it is.
He swings to knock out your hand, but he doesn't roll well, and you're kind of quick, and you're able to kind of pull your hands back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But they're getting like, now they're all kind of like moving towards you, and they're getting a little bit more intense. While they do, you hear another whisper from the statue.
Mm-hmm.
Protect yourself.
I'm going to look at my, for some reason, the most important thing to me in the world, my piece of paper, and look for a shrine that is on a further side of the graveyard that I haven't attended to yet.
Sure.
And be like, I actually need to get a move on, as they say.
Yeah.
And start
Let's say
heading.
there's a shrine to ELVÖA on the other side, which is the goddess of plants. When you begin to move, you get another stick in the chest and are slammed against the statue behind you. Kind of crack your head a little bit. You're not going anywhere, freak. Protect yourself.
I reach up and grab the stick that's on, it's like pinning me, and I try to grab it as hard as I can, but I still somewhat calmly say, like, I mean, how else, or do you want to go tend to Odea, because she?
Odea, well, she, he, they all are kind of gender
Odea can
fluid.
get pretty antsy if I don't get over there soon.
I want you to do a strength check.
Okay.
Beat a 16. Wow. Natural
I'm telling you,
20.
I'm only going to be rolling 20s. I've seen a lot of people play D&D,
Yeah.
and the mistake they make
Right.
is
Is
they
not
roll,
always rolling
they roll
20s.
other numbers. It doesn't work out for them. So this whole thing I'm trying, it's called the all 20
Yeah.
style.
So this dude goes to pull the stick away from you, but you've got such a good grip on it that he loses his, and he goes tumbling backwards and just back ass into the mud. And just mud splashes, and his friends start laughing, and he's like, screw you. And he gets up and he throws mud off his hand, and he goes to punch you. Time seems to slow down for a second, and you can hear again this protect yourself. And as the whispers exit the statue, you can kind of see them like this pale dust kind of dances around either side of you and begins to wrap around your arms and go through your fingers and into your nails, and then you can feel like a cracking and a growing in either of your hands, and as the fist comes towards you, your hand just goes up and it's bone. This bone has formed around your hand as if you're wearing a glove of bone, and his fist slams into it. Blood bursts from his knuckles. You hear them crack and break, and he just lets out a scream as he falls backwards, clutching his shattered hand, and you're just there with this bone hand in yours. The other two kids are now backing up, afraid. Like, what the hell? What? And they grab their friend and they go running off.
I pull up my piece of paper again and say, okay, so what does Adea need? And I'm trying to ignore my bone hands.
Yeah, this huge bone hand gripping the top of it. It's real easy to manipulate, just as easy as your own hand would be.
It's just larger.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like trying to like find the pinpoint. And I eventually just roll up the scroll and find myself just staring at my hands. I stare back at the statue of death, back at the bone hand, and I go for the berry finger.
Yeah, and kind of touch fingers.
Yeah.
Okay, as you do it, the eyes of the statue flash brightly, and you see yourself in this field, in this towering suit of bone armor. There's spikes and like blades, it seems like, and you seem like 8 feet tall, and you're just this towering creature of bone. And then boom, you're right back to where you are. And as you pull your hand back, you see the bone fade just into little rivets of dust until it's just your own hand again.
I do like an all body check of like,
yeah, everything okay? Everything's perfectly normal.
I pick up the stick. I say, this should actually serve as a pretty good stick for Adea.
Yeah, it should actually. And now all she needs is the stick. That's all that it says, like a stick.
And kind of say, thanks.
There's no response whatsoever.
Start walking towards Adea.
As you turn to leave, there's a rumble, and the ground shifts, and a bone, a long, thin, straight bone rises out of the ground just to the edge and perfectly balances there, about the same size as a quarterstaff.
Grab it, spin it around a bit.
Perfectly balanced.
So I don't get to have a lot of items to myself. As far as things that I own, it's a bit few. I have a lot of items that I'm given to tend to the shrines.
Sure.
But
you only own them.
There's a bit of joy of like, this doesn't belong to anybody.
Yeah.
This could be mine.
I mean, it specifically rose out of the ground for you, so it's probably a good chance to believe it's yours.
I'm not positive.
Right.
So I grab it.
Yeah.
And I kind of start using it as a walking stick.
Yeah, it's perfect. The weight is perfect, everything.
I'll double check. See, like, does something need bone? I don't know. I don't think so.
Nope. Nothing actually needs bone.
Yeah. Just start incorporating it to my runs around the shrines.
Excellent. So you walk over to the shrine to Wude. It's at the far end of the graveyard where there are a grove of trees, and there's several different kinds, and they're all beautiful, and they tend to flower brighter and longer than any of the other trees in the village, and many people think that's directly because it's tied to Wudea. You get there, and there is basically, there's no real headstone. It's just kind of a old petrified tree with a groove down the middle to lay a new stick within.
Barb mutters to themselves, "Oh, I get it." And plays it down and thinks, that's kind of clever, actually.
Yeah. And you kind of lay it in, and it fits perfectly. Like, normally you would have to cut down a stick or break down a stick.
Yeah.
This one fits exactly right.
My luck is up today.
As you lay it down, you hear a voice behind you. You've done well here.
Quick. Quick. I'm not a fan of the fear.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah, you spin around, and there is let me think here. There is a young elf, probably equivalent of not much older than you, actually. And she's just kind of like looking over, the work that you've done. She's dressed in leather armor, and she has this strange robe on with symbology, and she has a staff, which ends in a bright pink stone.
I say, not so bad yourself.
Thank you.
You've also done well.
I try. But I can only do well tonight if you come with me.
Can I have like an hour?
Sure. And she walks over to you, and as she does, her staff glows. The stone begins to glow a little brighter as she approaches. And she stands there, and she's like, "May I see?" Yes. All right, well, if we split this up, we should be done within half an hour. Let me see your bag. I'll need that, and I'll need this. Oh, I have some of that. And I'll need that. All right. Meet you back here in half an hour. And she goes running off and starts dealing with, the various shrines. And she gets everything perfect. Like, she just glanced at your paper, and she's nailing every single one.
That's really impressive. When Barb first started, definitely was like, which one is this one again? Like, whoa, God, what is this god's name? And like trying to match them. Like, been doing this for a while, and they still, it takes them long because they get confused.
Yeah, absolutely. She seems to know each god, and she also stops and seems to say a little silent prayer to every single one of them.
I look at my list. What's next on my list?
So let's say next on your list is the god of sport. There is an arena to the north. Mm-hmm. Some people don't make it, so the god of sport is your next one.
All right. Are the materials like 3 basketballs, 2 footballs?
The sweat of exertion.
Barb pulls out a vial and says, "That's what this is." That's disgusting. And then Barb uncorks it and goes, "No, not me."
Yeah. It's not you, but it's pungent.
Does this shrine, is there a statue of the god?
There's basically a statue of like this dude and like this big Greek pose with a discus in one hand and a spear in the other hand, and just perfection of body. Yeah.
I start kind of climbing on
sure.
the dude and uncork the vial again and kind of pour it like on the top of his forehead.
Yeah.
And like look back and be like,
perfectly runs down his head.
That's where sweat goes, right? But they really need to train for him. It's weird.
Right. Could be his feet. You never know. Like, whatever.
And I step back and I remember that I just saw this lady murmuring. And I step back and I kind of like get in a like a like official position, and I say, "It was a good game, coach. You gave it your all, and in the end, that's what really matters. You are a winner in my heart." And I kind of look around a bit.
She's over, and she's kind of looking at you with one hand on her, and she lets out a little pearl of laughter, but it's not mocking. It's sweet. Right? It's kind laughter. And she kind of walks over, and she was like, "You know what? I bet he'd like that. I think that's rather appropriate."
I would assume so.
You're rather good at this.
Thanks. I never thought I was bad, but it's nice to hear that I'm good.
Well, it's nice that you care. It's nice that you see the gods for what they are and believe that they should be honored.
Barb hears this and thinks, statues. They're statues.
They're statues, but... Wait, sorry, did you say that out loud?
No. Barb was thinking this.
Yeah. It's how I always looked at everything. I believe that all the gods should be honored. I believe they should all be worshipped. I believe they should all be revered because they mean everything and because they built everything. They pulled this world out of nothingness. And their children have power too. And she leans her staff forward until it touches your chest, and it glows so brightly you have to close your eyes, and it sounds like dry ice against metal. It's got that whining howl as it touches your skin, and then she pulls it back. Do you know why I'm here?
Have I been, like, slow in my performance? Like, have I needed to, like, pick up the pace? Or, I mean, because as you saw, people sometimes can be, like, really distracting, and I sometimes feel like I need to give them what they want, and so I put on, like, a little bit of, like, a razzle-dazzle.
There are people who will ask many things of you, but what matters is what you believe now and what you can do. You, my friend, are a demigod.
Is that a good thing?
Well, I think it's a good thing. You have been born of a god. Divinity flows through your veins. You can claim your proper place amongst immortality.
Dr. Mom is a god?
Well, no. No. Your mother
Says
is
who?
quite human. Well, I mean, perhaps
Have
I
you
haven't
seen her work?
Yeah, well, she's great, but I've been near her with my
She's
staff.
really great.
She's really great, but she's mortal.
Says you.
Well, no, says this, actually, and she points to the stone. This is a godstone. They were created by the gods, kind of as an accident, but we have them now, and they can detect divinity, even when it's a little latent.
Thank you. Or
You're welcome.
never mind. I mean, fuck you?
And she laughs. It is a great gift, again, in my eyes. There are others who would think it a curse. There are those who will despise you for it. But it's your burden, either way.
Like responsibility burden?
Oh, yes.
Fuck.
Yes. That is, so the unfortunate part of this is that you must now come with me.
Okay, but do you have like a manual or like a list of things that I need to get done? Because that's kind of what helps me like see it all in one larger picture so I can like wrap my head around, because sometimes people ask me to do things and I'll get one part of it done and then when I'm moving on to the next part, I try to think of it and it's just not there anymore. That's why pieces of papers like this, and I pull in like multiple pieces of paper from like for some reason it's like maybe like throughout the months or so, like I get new orders of like,
different
like,
seasons, different things.
but they're all there. Like I've kept all of them to like double check them and be like, and so if you have something maybe that's like, so you just found out you're a demigod.
I have no pamphlets. However, when you arrive at the temple, you will be told all you need to know, and your instructors will give you many books.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Excellent. And she claps her hands, and you hear two horses neigh, and over the hill comes a pair of them pulling a nice wagon. Like basically, well, not a wagon, like a carriage.
On a scale of 1 to horses,
Yeah.
how terrifying are these horses?
They're not. They're beautiful and kind of like they're white with spots of brown. They're not overly large, just big enough to pull the wagon.
But they have mouths that if they wanted to, they could bite.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, they
I
could bite
step
if they
back
want to.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
The statue of sport, it's similar to how in the beginning
Yeah.
I'm kind of moving behind it as these horses pull up.
Yeah, they pull up. The carriage pulls right in front of you. They kind of turn a little bit, and she opens the door for you and gestures inside.
Oh, carriage. Not a door to the horse.
No. Yes.
Step inside
She
my horse.
cuts
please.
open the horse like a tauntaun.
That makes them less scary.
Yeah.
Okay. I slowly edge back out. Start getting my things in. Hey, how long will I be gone?
Well, at least 4 years.
Oh, I need to tell Dr. Mom then.
Okay. And she just waits by the horses. Come right back. Don't make me find you.
Okay, well, don't go looking for me then.
And she kind of cocks her head kind of oddly at you and then laughs. And then she turns to the horses and begins to brush them down.
Careful with those. And I turn away and start heading back to so it's nighttime.
Yeah, let's say it's like about 9.
That's so early night that I assume Dr. Mom would.
Oh yeah,
Would probably be.
She'd be up in her study going over various things, right? You know, you walk in and there's like tubes boiling, and she's got, you know, tons of books laid out, and her hair's all frazzled. Does she normally keep it up, or does she let it go down?
I would assume so.
Yeah. So she's like let it go down at this point, and it's all kind of like tangled and everything, and she's just writing by candlelight.
Hey, D-Mom.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. I actually finished already all the stuff at.
Really?
Yeah.
That was rather quick. You'll
I
get
know.
better at this.
It literally is the quickest I've ever done it. Technically, I didn't do it. I had someone help me.
Oh. Do you have a friend?
I don't know yet, but I'm gonna. They asked me to go with them to a thing for a little bit, or for a while.
Wait, what?
They had horses come up. I'm okay. Don't worry. And they said, "Oh, it's time for you to get in my carriage." It was more eloquent than that.
Wait, what?
They said it's because they had a stone at the edge of the stick, and when they touched me with it, it glowed, and they're like, "Oh, you're a demigod, so you have to come with me."
Her face falls, and she pushes books to the side, pulls out a chest, and begins ripping drawers out of it until finally she has a little pink stone, and her hands are trembling as she lifts it towards you, and it begins to glow. And she just drops it and breaks down into tears and throws her arms around you. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. If I'd known.
How long have you had those stones?
She pulls back. There was a time before you were born. Something happened. I still don't understand, but it's just.
I slowly, but arms are around and giving her back a hug.
Yeah, she's barely holding it together right now. She can barely talk. She's just crying, and she's saying she loves you, and she's holding you tightly.
Okay. Do you not want me to go? Because
you have to go. You have to go. They'll come for you if you don't, and things will be very bad.
I think they already came for me.
This is the invitation. The invitation comes first. You should accept it. Know that I will not be able to speak with you at all.
Oh, nuts.
But that I care for you. Wait. And she reaches through and she pulls out things, and she pulls out an amulet. And as the amulet passes over the stone...
She has one hand, by the way.
Sorry. As the
Get
amulet,
it right.
Sorry.
You're ruining my OC.
I'm too used to using my hands. As the amulet passes over the stone, it glows a little brighter, and she, kind of loops it over your head, and then pulls it around and adjusts it in the front, and it's a little silver heart with a ruby in the center. It's kind of like this pierced lattice
Where is
design.
everyone getting all of these stones all of a sudden?
And she touches it and presses it against your heart, and it glows warm, and you just feel defended. This will help keep you safe. Never take it off.
Barb kind of takes it and does that thing where you put it underneath the shirt.
Yeah.
And thinking okay, I guess that's a layer of protection.
And she throws her arms. Well, she throws her arm around you again. Sorry, throws her arm, gives you a kiss on the cheek, stands back, and nods. And as she does, there's a little knock at the door, and the door kind of swings open, and the elf peeks her head in. Hi, all set?
I said you didn't have to come find me.
I know, but it's my job. And if I lost you, they'd yell at me, and they'd burn everything down.
Okay.
I don't want that.
Sure, right.
I like you.
Anyway, turn back to Dr. Mom. Okay, I will be back. I'm not gonna never see you again, so I'll see you later.
I will be here, and I will be here. Good luck.
Oh, yeah.
Be well.
Yeah, you too.
And she walks you to the door, and she stands in the doorway, and she waves and just looks mournfully as the two of you get into the carriage, I assume?
Love you.
I love you more than I have ever loved anything.
Okay.
And then, one little tear. She's trying so hard to hold it together because she doesn't want you to be upset, but barely holding it together.
Okay. I turn back to the elven, half-elven?
Elven.
Elven
Yeah.
woman. I say, there was something at my work that I like just found, and it was super cool. Can I go grab that real quick?
Yeah, of course.
I make my way back to the gravekeep and I find the big old femur.
Yeah.
That I maybe instinctually laid against the god of death.
Perfect.
Being like again, like in the back of my head, being like, no, maybe it does go to. That would make sense, but I understand. But again, checking my list, seeing no sign of a bone.
Nope.
Being like, all right, and I'll take it.
Excellent. So you come walking back up with this large bone, like, stick, and she kind of looks a little surprised, and she leans her staff towards it, and it glows. The stone glows for it as well. And she nods, and she puts it back.
The bone's a demigod too.
Well, it's part of you.
Barb starts shaking.
No. Not literally part of you. Hopefully not, anyway. It looks like you would need that one.
Yeah.
Come now. We must go.
Okay. It takes like 2 minutes to get the bone in the carriage.
Right.
Like,
Dunk.
Classic.
Dunk. Yeah.
Classic. Like.
Maybe if...
I have it.
Perhaps if we
like,
lashed it to the... Oh.
And when we sit in the carriage, it's definitely like...
Right. It's like you on one side, her on the other, and a giant bone thing wedged in between both of you. And she's like, well, okay then. And she leans back, and the carriage takes off across the hills, and you swear you hear a wail from your mom. One gasp of sadness as you ride off into the night. And we'll stop right there.
Hi, my name is Arvi, and my pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Janus de Cassiel, who is an Aasimar bard.
Janus or Janus?
Janus,
Janus, got you. Okay, perfect then.
like the Roman god Janus.
I like how you think. I like how you think that I would know how to pronounce the Roman god Janus, but I appreciate it. All right, so Janus is from the city of Ani, which even now, before the Gods' War, is still a great and powerful metropolitan city in the kingdom of Demric. Demric. So, describe where Janus lives.
So I think Janus lives in a guild house, and this house is, 2-3 stories tall, and it's kind of like a manor house. The lady of the house her name is Prisma, and she manages the house. She teaches the students that live in the house, and it's filled with several, I would say maybe like a dozen, maybe a dozen students who are learning to be courtiers and courtesans as part of high society. So they get kind of rented out, bought out for an evening, for a party, maybe for a couple of days, and they become almost like arm candy, or they entertain, and they they'll dance and play instruments, or they are there for conversation. And so this house is, always bustling. There's always a lot of activity. There's always someone in like the foyer waiting to be seen. And Prisma is always there, watching over, the neophytes and the members of this guild, and carefully selecting, who gets to go with who. And there are other reasons why also she might be selecting, certain members to accompany someone.
Someone's got a taste or something, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been here?
So I've been here for pretty much all of my life. I was found by Prisma at the Temple of Epona.
And most of the other ones are orphans as well, correct?
Most of the other ones are orphans, and they were either brought in by Prisma or they came to her doorstep, and she noticed something that was there and kind of trained them to become a part of this lifestyle. And Prisma is pretty much my my mother. I've known her all of my life, but I also know that this is that she's not my real mother, and that there are other aspects of my life and my lineage and my patronage that she does not know about.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's say that Jonas is in the house, sitting in like there's probably like a large sitting area. Maybe a lot of fainting couches where everyone just kind of lounges around where they're not particularly doing anything. So you're lounging around with a couple others in your house. They don't really like these three. They're kind of like their own like circle of mean girls. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But they're all kind of hanging out.
I think every house has that sort of.
Every house is gonna have that. This house in particular would definitely have that. And you're just kind of like, I'm gonna say casually reading a book while you're waiting for your next thing to do.
Okay.
What would you normally be reading?
I think I would be reading about art or so Janice is really, I think, into fashion and making sure that he's dressed appropriately for all occasions, but also to wear clothes that are a little bit fashion forward.
Yeah. So you just got this like this book with these beautiful, just hand-drawn, very, A-line, right? Yeah. And just one gorgeous colored page after it cost you a fortune, but you'd been saving for it for a while.
Yeah. I think I spend a lot of my money on the way I look. I mean, it's my profession, and also this is kind of like how I express myself. So I would think that Janice is fairly poor.
He's clothes poor,
but he's looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, everyone's got to have a thing, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're investing money in your career and your self-worth, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, so you're just flipping through it, and the mean girls are over across from you, just kind of tittering back and forth, but you're ignoring them. And a moment later, Prisma walks in. And Prisma is like, usually in a very kind of like, tight corset, right? Very long, flowing kind of thing. Usually reds. She tends to go to reds, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, boys, you have work to do, don't you? And the three mean girls like, ugh, and they just, start, they clomp off. And then she turns to you and she's like, you have a very special job this evening, my dear.
I close the book. Yes, Lady Prisma.
And she hands you a scroll. And it's, got a wax seal on it, right? That's already been broken, but, she hands you the scroll and you unravel it. And it is an invitation to the Starlight Ball at this fancy inn, the Griffin's Claw, right? And it's this very high-end inn in Ani, and you've been invited to go as the personal escort to Lord I really should have names ready. Lord Alfred Lorenz.
Okay.
Perfect. Yes. You are to meet him at the bar, where he will have a private booth all set up.
Okay, so is there any other information that I should know about Lord Lorenz?
I'm not written down, dear. But you should know that he has a contract at the Royal Docks that's going to be sealed very soon. And I would like to know who is involved with that contract.
So, okay,
He also loves wine.
that's great.
You should be able to get him talking.
I'll make sure I'll apply him with a few glasses.
Of course you will, my dear. Now, you'll need some money for expenses, and she gives you 10 gold. I expect him to buy most of the drinks, but you never know.
I pocket the money. And so what does this Lord Lorenz like?
Well, he likes young men, but he also likes to brag. He loves to tell a good story, and hopefully you'll be able to pull some information out from him that way. However, I also would like you to give him this, and she pulls out one more gold coin, and it looks just like all the other gold coins, except around the edge, instead of gold, it's platinum. Slip this into his pocket, put it on his person, and that will help me quite a lot.
All right. So, I'll put this on his person. And is there anything else that I should get from him?
Just the information. We just need to
in
know
my
about
pocket.
that contract. A friend has some questions, and I would like to provide him answers.
All right. As you wish, Lady Prisma. I'll make sure to get that information from him.
Of course you will. You are my favorite. Thank you, my dear. And she goes walking off, cracks open a fan and goes walking off, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So the Griffin's Claw is about, it's a like a 30-minute walk, but you could also call a carriage, which would cost you a gold, but you could arrive that way as well.
All right. Yeah. First I think I'm gonna go and get ready.
There you go. All right.
So I'm gonna go up to my room, and I probably share my room with a few other members of the guild.
It'd be like a college dorm setting, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
there's like 2 or 3 people in there as well.
Yeah.
One of your roommates is there. She's also reading a book. She reads like a lot of stories about like the old world, like the old world when the world first came into being. They're not really fiction. They're not really, accurate tales. It's more like fairy tales, like this is how the world was born, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got this contract from Lady Prisma, so I need to get ready really fast.
On it. And she closes the book and throws it down and starts getting like, she's pulling out some of your coats and shoes. Like, I like this one and I like that one. And this one's really, really good. Do you need to run?
Yeah, well, I just have a few minutes, so
No, I mean would you maybe need to run as part of this?
Yeah, but I can run in my stilettos.
Okay, good. Go with the heels.
So, I take my black stilettos and they come up to my knees, zip them up, and Fen, do you have? I just need to borrow some rouge or something to kind of make me look a little bit fresh.
I got you. And she's like,
Okay, excellent.
you put on that really fancy coat that ties in the back, and she goes around back and ties it up. Yeah.
Yep.
She's got you.
I kind of flip my hair a little bit. All right.
And then she runs off and she grabs the largest mirror she can find and holds it in front of you.
All right, so I kind of just look at all my angles. I think this is going to do.
I think you're going to do just fine. And she
Excellent.
puts it down. Have fun.
Always.
Excellent. So you head out?
Yep, I head out.
Are you walking or getting a carriage?
So how much money did
10 gold.
10 gold.
Yep.
And how much is a carriage?
A
you
gold.
think? Okay, so I think I'm going to get a carriage.
Yeah. Want
right?
to show
like
up
I wanna,
in style,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And
this is probably what he's expecting anyway, right?
You might as well set the scene, right? So you tell there's like a page boy out front who gives a big ass bell and rings it real loud. Eventually, one of these carriages rolls up, and it's it's not like a limo. It's like the taxi version of a carriage, so it's nice, but maybe one of these seats has a little tear in it, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And oi, where you headed?
So I need to go. I'm sorry. What was the place again?
Oh, sorry, the Griffin's Claw.
The Griffin's Claw. And I need to get there fairly quickly.
All right.
I hand him a coin. I say, so I'm wondering if we can, maybe we should go and, so the Griffin's Claw is a tavern, or is it
like a real fancy tavern parlor kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking about picking up some wine, but I think we should be fine going.
There'll be wine there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
All right. You want to hurry?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So he's going down the main road. There's a little bit of traffic. There's been like an overturned oxen cart or something. And he's like, hang on. And he just whips him, goes around a side alley, brings you back. Like he's going at breakneck speed. It feels very dangerous, but gets you there all in one piece and doesn't scrape any of the paint whatsoever. Pulls around front, and the front of the Griffin's Claw is this long circular driveway, right?
Okay.
And it's got a huge fountain in the center, and there are all these lanterns hung up, and it's just this bright, welcoming, gorgeous building, all flagstone on the front, about 3 stories tall, and the main entrance leads directly into the tavern.
All right. Thank you, my good sir. And I give him a tip.
Thank you.
Another gold coin.
Generous. Have fun, kid. And he cracks the whips, and he's out.
Okay, so I get out and I kind of straighten my clothes and take a good look around.
Sure.
So what's happening? How is it filled with people?
The main doors are open. It's a cool evening in Palan. It's the equivalent of like September, right? So it's a nice cool evening. So they've got the front doors and the windows open. There's a woman at the front who has like a very, very, very tight dress on, and it has a clipboard not a clipboard, they wouldn't have like the spring, but she's got like papers in front of her, right? And she's clearly checking people's invitations as they walk up. Like, you on the list? Okay.
All right.
And then beyond them, it is packed. Now, the way that the bar is set up is that there's a central bar, but people don't really walk up to the bar. The bar seems to be just for the waitress, the wait staff that's going back and forth. And there's a whole series of booths all around the edge. And the booths kind of form a U, and then there's a curtain that can be drawn across each one. So they're all designed for privacy.
Okay. So I'm going to go up to the lady who's checking people in, and I kind of look around casually and I say, I'm looking for Lord Alfred Lorenz. My name is Janice de Cassiel.
Oh.
I believe he's expecting me.
Yes. Prisma called me. It's good to see you. She does send the best. Right there, my dear. And points towards a booth that's kind of in the corner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have fun.
Question. Does Lord Lorenz have a drink with him right now?
I believe, and she squints for a second, and she's like, hang on. Desmond, come here. And this young man walks over. What is the Lord drinking? And he's like, well, he's drinking this like elven red, basically, right? Like, it's fancy, right? And he's drinking like a nice elven red vintage.
So he's already got wine with him.
Well, he's had 3.
Oh, well, let's do another.
Excellent. We shall begin right there.
One for me as well.
Of course. And he goes right to the bar, and literally, like, as you're walking in, he's already pouring them.
Okay. So I'm going to walk, and I'm just going to slowly walk and kind of saunter past the crowd.
Like if there's a spotlight in slow motion just going back. Yeah. Hang on. Roll me a perception. 2. You know what?
Wait,
you
hold
don't
on.
You don't care because
4.
it's
4.
It's not about them. This is about you, right? So you're just not even looking around, but you're getting looks. You're getting looks by men and women and everyone. So you're getting looks from a lot of people. You just don't give a fuck.
Is there anyone else from the House of Luciana here working as well?
Not that you saw right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna walk up to his booth, and so the person with the wine is like right behind me.
Literally right behind you. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna let him go ahead of me.
All right. So he nods to you, throws open the curtain, and says, "My lord, your wine and entertainment are here." and places both wine glasses down, and then nods to you and quickly excuses himself.
I walk up to the booth. Lord Lorenz, I presume, and I take a deep bow.
He is he's about, I'd say, in his late 40s. He has one of those like real long goatee things, striking looking gentleman, black hair with that's going gray at the temples, very broad shouldered and narrow, and he stands up. He's about 6'4". He has the body and the movements of a fighter. Like, this man knows how to handle himself. And he looks you in the eyes and he bows deeply and he gestures to the seat next to him. Please have a seat, my friend.
So I want to do. I want to see if maybe, like, is he? Can I tell if one? I know he likes boys.
Yes.
But is he
young men?
Let's
say young men.
Young
yeah.
men. And so, does he? Is he? Can I tell if he's like married or if?
Roll me a perception.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I hope it's better than the first roll.
That looks like it's
21.
Oh yeah. Okay, so there's no ring. And there's no like sign that he took a ring off. Like, it's not like you know, like a little bit of an anti-tan thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no obvious sign. He's not wearing a pin of any other houses besides his own. So there's no merging of houses. I mean, he very well could be single.
And I could tell that at one time he was like a soldier or something.
Definitely.
But not anymore.
Absolutely.
Like, is he
In
like...
fact, now that you've gotten a really good look, like just peeking out from his neck, you can see a scar that was clearly made by a blade. So and his hands and knuckles are rough. So he was clearly someone who fought at some point.
Does he have any weapons on him?
Mm-hmm. Like, when you were looking, you could definitely see there's a dagger at his side and another dagger underneath his, you know, like strapped to his left leg. You can just see the outline of it. So he's at least carrying 2 daggers.
Okay. So so he's letting me sit down. So I sit down.
And then he sits at. So he was standing the entire time, waited for you to sit, and then sat as well. So it's like, imagine a booth like this with a table in the middle, and you guys are both on opposite sides here.
Okay. And I take my wine glass. Should we have a toast?
Of course. He picks his up. Cheers.
Clink.
He takes a very ample sip of it and places it back down.
I'm gonna sip, but I'm gonna look right at him as I sip.
Yeah.
And I like sip a little bit, but I pretend to like drink more than I'm actually drinking.
Sure. You just kind of hold it there. Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't break eye contact with you. Like when you stare at him, he stares right back. He's got a wide smile. He definitely seems like a very confident man.
Okay. I put it down. I say, "This is very excellent taste, sir."
Oh, it's one of my favorites. They don't have all the vintages here, mind you. They only have some. The elves are a bit stingy with them this year, but it's been a very good year for this one. And he picks it back up and he takes another sip. As he does, in the back of your head, you hear, I might make sure it's right, Desdemona?
Mm-hmm.
You hear Desdemona whisper in your ear, right? And as you're looking across from him, like behind him at the separator to the other booth, there's a mirror behind him. And you see her in the mirror looking back at you. And she just kind of whispers, "Watch your drink." And then slides back behind him and is gone.
Okay, so is there any way that I can tell if there was something in my drink?
Yeah, you could try to roll a medicine.
Okay, let's do that. I think as I was sipping, I'm like trying to taste if there's something.
Totally. As you should. Be like one of the first things you would probably be taught. Watch your drink.
Yep. 13.
Tastes like really good wine. Like, there's no bitterness. There's no weird, there's no weird chalkiness to it. From what you've been trained, there doesn't appear to be anything in this drink whatsoever.
I'm gonna look back at the busboy who poured the drink, and I just want to dart my eyes real quick in that direction and see, is he watching us? Is there some sort of activity that I should know about?
Roll me one more perception. There you go.
18.
Now you're aware. Yeah, you look back over at him and you see him at the bar and he's like filling other drink orders, and then he like glances over at you and he sees that you catch his eyes and he glances right back and continues doing what he's doing. But it did seem like kind of a nervous glance that he sent you.
Okay. I put my glass down and so Lord Lorenz, so what exactly are we doing here?
Well, I just needed an evening. I've been very busy, you know, making lots of deals, securing gold for the city, and I needed a night to relax. Enjoy the company of a fine young man such as yourself.
Well, that's what I'm here for. What is it that you do?
Oh, well, I'm in shipping. And he goes into this long thing that's incredibly boring about how my first ship was given to me by my father, but I earned all my other ones. And from that ship, blah, blah, blah. Basically, I was given everything on a silver plate and I did well with it.
So I'm going to draw upon my training here.
Yeah.
And, I pretend to be really engaged.
Of course. Of course.
With what he's saying.
Roll performance.
Okay.
There you go.
22.
Oh yeah, yeah. He totally buys it.
Yeah, I'm like, right. And at the same time, I'm also going to want to see if I catch anything that he's telling me that might be important.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to try to be aware of what the busboy is doing, or if there's anyone else who seems to be particularly interested in our conversation or in Lord Lorenz.
Totally. So he is going on about shipping, and then he gets to the more recent stuff, and he's like, no, so I secured a couple contracts just recently, and I can't tell you how much Lord Deomire was helpful with that. Oh, she gave me everything I needed and more, and we are going to be rich.
So, Lady Prisma told me, this is me thinking.
Yep.
So Lady Prisma said that I need to gather a contract from him.
Well, names of people who are involved in this contract, and he just gave you one. So Lord Deomire is, she is this older woman. She has been a rich woman in the city for many years. She has 3 husbands who have all died, and she has made quite a fortune from each of them. And she's invested in shipping, but overland shipping. So she's the one that would she gets a lot of money from stamps and tariffs of things coming into the city by wagon and all that. So if she's involved in this, obviously she's looking to expand her empire to shipping as well as overland shipping, and that could basically give her a strong monopoly on a lot of the trade that goes on in Ani.
Okay. So how well do you know Lord Deomire?
Well enough not to trust her. Ha, ha, ha. Takes another swig of his wine, and then he stands up and he walks over to the curtain. So he turns his back to you for a moment, and he grabs the edges and he slams them shut.
As his back is turned, I take the coin out, and I assume he's wearing like a jacket or something.
Totally.
He has got like a
big, huge, flouncy pockets. Yeah.
And I'm going to drop it in his pocket.
Sleight of hand. And to roll it with advantage because he's had 5 wines now.
Oh my god. This will be interesting. So I got a 5.
Okay. You go to drop it in his pocket, and he stumbles for a second and trips just as you let go of it. Okay. It hits the ground.
All right.
And it rolls. It just rolls out. You can hear it roll beyond the thing, and whoa, 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 whoa. So like maybe a couple feet just outside the curtain wall, that coin is rolled.
Okay. Did he notice anything?
No, he did not notice it.
Okay. Damn it. So I kind of curse under my breath.
Yeah.
And as he falls back, I kind of like grab him.
Sure.
I'm there anyway, so I'm gonna grab him.
Yeah.
And as I grab him, I also kind of want to feel like his muscles. Is he muscular?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Totally. 100%.
So I'm just gonna like feel him up and linger a little bit.
Yeah.
And then say, "Be careful there, my lord."
Oh.
I just want to make sure that you're not,
No, the boards in this ground are clearly uneven. I'm fine. And he just kind of like like kind of moves back into his seat and sits, and then he like looks a little dizzy for a second. He's like, "No, I'm," and then wham, just his head hits the ground, and like his eyes are open, but they're not. But
Okay.
but he's just laying there.
Okay. I look around. Has anybody else noticed what's
No,
going on?
because the curtain is shut.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, is the coin around?
The coin is like just outside the room.
So I have to open the curtain to get it.
Or maybe stick your foot out and drag it back in. You know, whatever
Okay.
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first, I'm going to check to see if he's okay.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. He's not breathing.
Okay. I'm going to I'm gonna cast. Actually, I'm going to use my Aasimar ability.
Okay.
And do Healing Hands, which
Gotcha.
restores 1 hit point to a creature that I touch.
Nice.
So if he's not breathing, and hopefully this is going to be enough to kind of bring him back. But before I do that, I'm going to go quickly grab the coin.
Yeah.
Put it in his pocket.
Yeah.
I want to just do a quick run through to see if there's anything else on his person that might be of interest.
Sure. So you just kind of feel him up real fast. And there's a coin purse with about 68 gold in it. There's a couple pieces of paper that definitely talk about what he was just talking about, like the shipping contracts, and they're signed by various individuals. So that could be real helpful. And there's a ring that he wasn't wearing, just kind of tucked in his pocket. Looks like a signet ring, but it's definitely not his house.
Okay.
So you're not sure about that one.
Okay. I'm gonna take the ring, and I'm just gonna skim through the documents. I'm not gonna take them.
Sure.
Just enough so that I have all the information about the contract.
Yeah. Let's say you get 3 more names. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And I just say, shit, Desdemona, I cannot believe that this is happening right now.
And she kind of leans out from the, mirror again, and she's like, "I said watch your drink. You should have watched his too."
You didn't give me that information.
And she kind of vanishes again. His lips are blue now, and the veins are kind of spidering.
Okay, enough talking to you. So I need to. I lay my hands on him, and I'm gonna do a quick prayer to. I'm gonna do a quick prayer to Epona, who is the patron deity of the guild I'm from.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just do a quick prayer and heal him for 1 hit point.
Does that also cure him of poison? I don't believe it does. No. So you heal him, and there's this gasp, right? And like a choking gasp, like he can't quite get the air in, and he's clawing at the table, and then he grabs you, and he's clawing at you.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold him,
Yeah.
and then like rip open the curtains.
Okay.
Somebody help me.
And then in that moment, he gasps again and falls to the ground.
Okay, so I get up, and is anybody?
Oh yeah,
noticing?
there's like a and a lot of tittering, and there's people running over, and
Okay.
he was like, and then someone like dives down next to you, like the busboy or whatever, right? And then they're like, they
Is it the
flipped
same
him over.
busboy who?
Yeah, totally. And
Okay.
and he gets flipped over, and he's got the blue lips and everything, and he turns and he goes, "He poisoned him."
Okay. So I'm gonna look to see if so everybody is watching, right?
Everyone.
Okay.
Some people near the doors are like, "Call the guards."
I say, okay, I'm gonna grab this busboy,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm gonna say, look, I saw what you did. You better own up to everything that's happening here, or something terrible is going to happen to you.
He's threatening me too, and he's like trying to push away. Stop him, someone!
Okay. I drop him,
Right.
and I'm looking for the nearest exit.
The nearest exit is behind you. No, the nearest exit is literally like there's a side door to the kitchen right next to you.
Okay. So I'm going to run to the exit.
Excellent. Click, 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 click. Boom. Right. Throw open the doors. There's a couple, chefs in there who are kind of startled. You have to move your way kind of past them, and there's another door beyond them.
Okay, so I'm gonna just rush by.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to do something that might be able to buy me a little bit of time. So I'm just gonna get my spells prepared,
Nice.
and I take my lyre out as well in case I need it. And
For what? Oh, because you're a bard.
I'm a bard.
Right,
yeah.
right. Just gonna play a little song.
In case there's
Yeah.
I need to persuade somebody.
I just love that you're sprinting for your life, but you gotta pull out that lyre just in case you need it.
Hey, just in case I need to play something on someone.
Perfect.
So I get to the back door. I'm going to kick it open and rush out. Am I like in an alley or?
Yeah. So now you're kind of behind the inn, and there are stables to your left, and like a cobblestone road in front of you for about the next 50 feet, and there's some stable hands out there. Otherwise, it's pretty much just you.
Okay, I am going to. I'm going to cast Disguise Self.
Nice.
And
what do you want to look like?
I want to look. I want to look like a young human man, and just like really nondescript.
Yeah.
And I also want to change my attire, and
Not quite so fancy.
not quite
Yeah.
so out there.
Basically, just looking like one of the stable hands, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, excellent. So you, like, if the camera was following you, it would be tracking alongside inside the stables, and there'd be posts, right? So it'd be like post, and you keep vanishing behind them, and then the third one,
And
when
then
you
I
vanish
change
behind,
to-
it's you afterwards. Exactly. So
Right.
you're just normal-looking dude. Yeah.
All right, and then I'm gonna walk out into the street.
Okay, you just kind of casually walk out. You can hear yelling, and you can hear a couple horses ride up, and some armor, and some clanking. You know, nothing to see here. Clear the way, that kind of thing. But it's all just behind you.
I'm gonna walk by, and as I walk by, I want to see if there is the sign of the same busboy anywhere.
You can't see him.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Actually, roll perception.
15.
Yeah, actually, you do see him. There's a couple guards around him, and he appears to be giving them an account.
Okay. Hey, Desdemona.
Silence for a moment, but you know she's there.
Desdemona, I know you can hear me.
Of course I can, dear. Like, there's a rain barrel next to you, right? And in the reflection, you can just see her, shimmering on the water.
Okay, so I go up to it, and
That went well.
that was probably the worst client I've ever had to situation I've had to deal with.
Well, you did get the coin in his pocket. Unfortunately,
I filled
he's
the brief.
dead.
Well, that's one out of however many, right? Like,
Yes.
you gotta count that. Sometimes you get dead ones.
Sometimes they die on you. What you gonna do?
So, what do you know about this busboy?
Oh, that one. Reginald.
I'm looking at him as like I'm talking to her through the reflection of the.
Reginald has worked in this establishment for a very short period of time, actually. Was hired on the... Oh, what was the name? Oh, on the word of... Whatever the name I gave to the lady who was also...
Lord Deomeyer.
Yes. Was hired apparently on the word of Lord Deomeyer herself. Surprise, surprise.
All right. How far away is he? I want to send him a message. I want to cast a message on him.
Yeah, let's just say he's within range. Sure.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna shoot him a message.
Yeah.
And
25 words or less.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I'm just gonna say, "Hey, you little shit." I say, "I know who you are, and I'm coming for you."
So you see him like giving an account to these cops, basically, right? And then just kind of look up and look around and like can't see anything, and then calm himself and no, I'm sorry, officers. So here's what happened, and go right back to it. But you clearly startled him.
All right. Well, Daz, at least we filled the brief.
Yes, I mean you got the information.
Right.
Yeah, who cares if he's dead? He was an awful man. No, he was an awful man. Trust me, I know.
Well, I mean, I only knew him very briefly, so I can't. he seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah, not so much to the last gentleman he saw. 2 broken ribs and a dislocated shoulder. I'd say you got the best of this one.
You're always looking out for me.
Of course. Although I did not poison him. I would have, though. Would have been fun. But it was not me.
No, careful, Des.
I know. Anyway, so, are we done? This barrel is filthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could
Toodles.
splash.
Yeah, exactly. God, exactly. Perfect.
All right. So, yeah, I'm gonna head back. Actually, I'm just gonna walk back.
Yeah.
It's a nice, cool night.
It's a lovely evening.
And
now you're in comfortable shoes.
Yes. And I'm gonna walk back all the way back to House of Luciana, and just before I get in, I'm gonna take the spell off.
Okay. As you're walking back, are you taking main roads, back alleys? What are you doing?
I'm gonna take the main road.
Sure.
And just enjoy, calm myself down a little bit, think about the information I just gathered, and and just enjoy the cool night air.
And it's lively. This main street is a lot. It's one of those streets where all the bars and restaurants are on it, so it's always busy at night. So there's people out and about, carousing, laughing, having a good evening, and you're just kind of walking about, and then a perception roll.
All right. Seven.
Okay. Don't really notice anything in particular. You're just enjoying your evening, and you're walking down the street. You get to about 2 blocks away from your house, and the crowd kind of parts. There's people walking towards you, and they kind of part, and then all of a sudden there's this halfling standing in front of you in these very official-looking robes and holding a staff twice as tall as he is, made of iron wood, and just kind of looks right at you.
Okay. And he's standing in front of me, in front of the entrance to the house.
In front of the road you'd have to take to the entrance, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I walk up to him.
As you do, the tip of his staff begins to glow.
Okay. Who are you?
Well, my name... Oh, God. Why don't I do these names beforehand? What's a good halfling name? My name is...
Fezzit.
Fezzit?
Yeah.
Sure, perfect. My name is Fezzit. Big, extended bow. Click. And you, my friend,
Yes.
you are the one I've been looking for. Well, not you in particular. Could have been anyone. But it happened to be you. I've been getting readings all night, just in this area, but couldn't quite find you. Thought I caught a glimpse of you earlier, but you look different.
I'm sorry. I don't think we've ever met. I don't know you.
Let's walk. And offers the crook of his arm, right?
Okay. I take his arm.
Excellent. And starts walking back towards your house. And the whole time his staff is glowing with this swirling purple and pink light.
What's up with your staff?
This staff is a seeker staff. Have you heard of it?
No. What
Have
are you
you-
seeking?
Well, you, actually. Have you heard of the Temple of Udea?
Have I heard of the Temple of Udea? Okay. Yeah, I don't really have anything to do with it, but yeah, sure.
Not just yet, and kind of runs his fingers up your arm, but you will. Let's go talk to your mistress. And he's having a good time. He's walking about. He's making jokes, asking you little things about the city. It's my first time in Arni. Quite a lovely city.
So you're here in particular just to find me?
Again, not to find you. People like you. I just happen to find you.
All right.
Excellent. And you walk up to the front door, and it opens, and I can't remember her name. Prisma's there.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, my. And then her face falls as soon as she sees the halfling and his staff. And she's like, what business do you have with him? My dear, I've come looking for him. And then you can just see her, she always has it together.
Yeah.
But her face looks forlorn, and she looks frightened in this moment. And she kind of looks around, and she's like, just come. And she ushers you guys into like a little side parlor that's normally just for her, right? And she ushers you in and she closes the door.
Lady Prisma, do you know this man?
I don't, but sit and don't say a word.
All right. I'm going to do as I'm told.
This is a mistake. It is not a mistake. And don't listen to her. I'm going to have to ask you questions. And he, again, points the staff really close to you, and it glows incredibly brightly. This is not a mistake.
Again, why is that thing glowing?
Okay, so here's how it works. I am a seeker. I go out into the world and seek demigods. And you, my friend, are one. Congratulations.
I look at Lady Prisma.
And she's got a very severe look on her face, and she starts to say something, but then she closes her eyes and shakes her head for a moment, and she's like, he's right. And then she goes to the bookshelf and she pulls like this little kind of like silver box open, and there's kind of like a stone clamshell inside it, and she pulls it out and she opens it, and inside it is a pink crystal that glows. And she holds it nearer to you, and it glows, and she closes it, and she sadly puts it back. I've known for some time.
My lady, what does this mean? What do you mean I'm a demigod? What is that?
It means that you were born of a god, child. It means that you have powers and abilities beyond your greatest imagination. It means that you are special, and you are always special. But it also means that you have to leave now.
But I don't want to go.
I don't want you to go either. But if you don't, and the halfling pops up, if you don't, then we ransack this place until we find you and drag you away. I don't like that particular part. That's not my job. I like the talking.
All right. I stand up, and what proof do you have of any of this? Like me being a demigod? I mean, okay, so you have stones that glow.
Points the staff towards her. Points the staff towards him. Points the staff towards you, and you're the only one it glows for.
Lady Prisma, I've always known that I was different, and I know that you're not my real mother.
Eyes water just a little bit.
So I don't understand, like, why all this all of a sudden? Like, why is this happening right now? I'm just thoroughly confused.
She doesn't know what to say, and the halfling is like, well, your powers manifest around this time. You're 17, 16. Humans are so hard.
I'm not a human.
Oh. He looks again. It's like, no, I suppose you're not. Well, then I wouldn't know at all, but I guess your average age is teenage-y, right?
I'm 17.
Ah, yes. Well, that's about the time when your powers would begin to manifest. You should see them soon.
What powers are you talking about?
Well, no one really knows yet. Usually they'll extend themselves at this time. Usually they'll come forth a bit, but sometimes it takes a little bit of a push.
So, my lady, you agree that I have to leave?
And she walks up to you and she just throws her arms around you and she hugs you very tightly. And she leans in and she's like, if I could do anything about this, you know I would stop it. I'd burn this house down to stop it. But I cannot, my child. They will keep coming for you, and I cannot see you harmed. And as she does, she drops a coin into your front pocket.
Okay. So as I'm holding her, I also want to just briefly close my eyes and I want to send a message to Desdemona, and I want her to weigh in on this as well. Like,
Okay.
I want her to tell me that this is going to be all right and this is what's supposed to happen, as she's always done throughout my life, has kind of guided me through and pointed me in the direction that I need to go in.
So there's a mirror behind her on the wall, and Des kind of rises up in it, and she looks at you and she's like, well, it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be hard. But what you find there and the friends you find there are going to be some of the most amazing things of your entire life.
All right. Des, you've always, and I'm saying this in my head, I just say you've always shown me in the right direction, so I'm going to believe you and Lady Prisma.
Thank you. I'm glad you listened. Absolutely. And she's like putting on lipstick. She's like, listen, it's going to be great. It's going to be great, just really, really hard. And you're going to find some great friends, and you're going to be powerful, sweetie. Really powerful.
Whatever you say.
Excellent. And she kind of like, and then she leans forward and she kisses the mirror and leaves a lipstick kiss on it, and then she drops back down.
All right. And then I look at Lady Prisma, and I give her a kiss on the cheek. Thank you for everything that you've done for me.
Well, I can do one more thing. And she goes to her shelf and she pulls out a box and she lifts it up, and there's this odd-looking hat. Like, not really your style, kind of strange, right? And she knocks off some dust and she places it on your head, and she turns the feather to the side, and she whispers a command word in your ear, and then as she does, the hat activates, and you look like a 22-year-old woman, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she gives you a hat of disguise.
Okay.
This was very helpful for me. Perhaps it will be helpful for you as well.
I hope so.
Excellent. And this is goodbye, my child. I will have your things sent. Hopefully I'll see you again.
I look at the halfling, and I say, all right, where are we going next?
All right, and follow me. Offers his arm again. Doors open. They walk out into the front, and there's already a carriage with a couple of uniformed soldiers in the same kind of style and color as his own.
As we walk out, I turn around and blow Prisma a kiss.
And she's at the front, and she's like, well, now there's this tear. She can't help it. All of her mascara's fucked. There's nothing else she can do. And she just nods, and she watches as the carriage, as you guys enter the carriage and roll down the street towards your destiny.
All right.
Perfect. Hold it right there. Excellent.
My name is Joey, or Gnome, and I go by he, his, him pronouns, the masculine pronouns. And I will be playing Theodore, who is a gnome eldritch knight.
So, Theodore, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character?
All right. Theodore is a 4'3" gnome with very dark gray skin, bleach white hair, white kind of gluey eyes, but they are always hidden behind garnet colored goggles that wrap around his head, and always just kind of stern looking, very serious, stoic type posture, shiny, well, not shiny, but polished armor.
Yeah. Well maintained.
Well, very well maintained. Every morning it is repolished, swords sharpened, everything is prim, proper, and ready to go, to be prepared for battle. And he has a long sword towards his right side, and there is, aside like the metal pauldrons, half breastplate, and a navy blue gambeson that kind of goes just about to his knees. Very stocky sort of little guy. And he's got these leather straps that come across to the one arm, which actually wrap around the arm, which is a harness for his shield because he's actually missing from just above the elbow, totally missing this part of his arm. And so he's learned how to protect himself by, kind of like latching on a shield to this side to keep his body protected while he fights left-handed.
Yeah, and he's adapted to that well.
Yeah, he's had about a couple of years of practice with it.
Because he wasn't born with this. This was an injury.
This was an injury, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. And how did that happen?
That happened during a troll attack. They were ambushed. His mother and a small troop were supposed to be delivering an important message to the main part of the kingdom from the fort that he lives in, and they were just ambushed by a whole bunch of trolls, and it went south really fast. And
as ambushes from trolls tend to do.
Yeah, they do. A lot of folks died, and he did not, thankfully, but he did come out with a lot of wounds.
Mental and physical wounds.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. And what would Theodore be doing now?
Well, Theodore is kind of not sure what to do. I mean, he's only the equivalent of like 14 years old, but he was raised in this military life. This is the only life he knows. So he stays to the fort. He takes his duty very seriously. He's watched, a lot of like the humans go from being, rookie rank to, now they're lieutenants, now they're captains, or, they're not here anymore. So that's the only life he's known is this fort and protecting the people.
Sure.
So that's all he's doing.
Maybe he's had an opportunity here or there for advancement, but he doesn't want to be assigned somewhere else, so he stayed here.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is where his mom was, and he doesn't have the heart to just get up and leave yet.
Yeah. Yeah. This is home.
This is home.
All right. Well, I would say one night you were on duty with your friend Renal. And Renal is a human who lives in the village. I imagine this is a human and gnome village.
It's actually like all human.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You're
Theodore's
like
the only gnome. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. So he is a friend of yours, and well enough. You guys
Yeah.
are on duty frequently. You talk a lot. And you guys have been assigned to one of these outposts. So around the edge of the city, they don't have a full wall, but they have these wooden outposts that are about 20 feet high that provide them with a good viewpoint and the ability to warn the rest of the city if anything, or the rest of the town if anything's incoming. So you guys have just been like on watch for a couple hours. It's quiet. It's always quiet. And it's especially quiet during these months because it's like the harvest is wound down. It's going into winter. And people are just getting ready to, batten down and survive it, basically. Yeah.
It's cold.
He's up there, and after like a couple hours, the only thing you don't like about, it's like, he's a good dude, but he gets bored easily. So like 3 hours into your watch, he's already pulling out a deck of cards and like looking to deal you in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we need to keep watch.
Well, I mean, for what? Yeah, I mean, I know we're here, but... and he gestures out towards this, clear starlit night where you can see 200-300 yards right down and this open, it's a little, like it gets a little marshy towards the edges, but it's pretty much an open field. It's like, where are they going to be? We'll see them. Just a couple games.
All right. I guess.
I would like you to roll. What would be like a luck card game roll? What would that be? It's not really sleight of hand because you're not trying to hide anything.
No, but luck.
Yeah. You know what?
Just a straight roll?
A straight roll plus intelligence.
All right.
Yeah.
That's 18 for me.
Yeah, you crush him. He loves cards, but he's terrible. He's just terrible. And you play 3 hands of poker, you rip him every single time. He switches over to 3-card ante or whatever, you rip him again. He keeps trying to play, but you keep winning, and he just kind of eventually just folds up the cards and puts them down. It's like, all right, let's do watch.
Sorry.
So you're kind of watching out for a while. And it is such a quiet night. Like there's no real insects because it's too cold. You're not really hearing any wolves because they're further up in the mountains. It's just a quiet evening. What would you be doing besides watching?
Probably probably just double checking my armor, making sure everything is functional. My straps are, okay. Nothing's like kind of rusting because sometimes those darn straps, if it gets a little water in it, then, they'll rust and you don't want it to snap in the middle of battle. And, just maybe just polishing up my sword, making sure it's okay, and like kind of looking over to Renal and be like, give me your sword. Yeah,
because it's in terrible shape, and he isn't even. He's like, yeah, please, please do it.
So Theodore like sets it down between his legs and just kind of like just starts polishing the sword.
He's kind of looking out, looks back at you, and he's looking out again. He's like, do you ever think about going anywhere else?
Where'd I go?
Anywhere.
This is home. Everything I need is here.
He kind of sighs. He's like, I want to see something different. I want to have an adventure. I want to be part of something bigger than me, than just this town.
Well, what's holding you back?
And he's, I don't know. This is my lot. I mean, I'm not officer material. You know that. I don't have anything about me that makes me special.
Well, you're terrible at cards, but you've got a good heart.
Yeah.
Why don't you look into, I don't know, like a doctor or something?
I can't be a doctor, and we don't have money. We don't have pull. We can't get into those schools. I mean, my parents worked really hard all their lives, and what do they have to show for it? I'm just looking at the same thing now. Just a life of guarding other people and their money and their things until I'm too old and too broken to do anything else.
But you're doing what needs to be done. This is, maybe you don't think it's your lot, but somebody has to do it. Somebody has to make sure that when you were a kid, you were safe. And your parents made sure of that, right?
Yeah, but we're not protecting kids. We're protecting things.
Yeah, but those things still belong to somebody. Somebody still cares about those things.
They'll always belong to somebody. And he kind of looks out and he puts his, his forearms on the wood and is just staring out into space. Roll perception.
That I have nothing in. Oh, but that's an 18.
Nice.
Ooh.
So he's just kind of off in his own head. And obviously is done talking for a bit, right? Like, all right, so you're doing your duties. You fix his sword. It's great. And hands it back and he nods. You get all your stuff in order. And then you too just start looking out for watch. And you're watching for a while. And the moonlight is bright and highlights everything clearly. You can see all the mounds towards the swamp edges and the marsh. And then you just see, you could swear you see one rise. Maybe 300 yards to the west.
Hey, Renal.
Yeah?
Is something moving out there? As I point with that arm.
He follows your hand and he's, wait a minute. Yeah. And as you're both looking, the mound kind of like rises and shuffles forward. And then as it moves more into the light, more towards you, you can see this curved, rotted nose and these horrible long arms, and your heart just goes cold because you know right away exactly what that is. And it's a troll. And it's coming towards your town.
I just stand there. I don't move.
Yeah.
Stare at it. Just totally frozen.
As you're standing there, like you're in this kind of, like there's this high-pitched whine in your ears and you can't hear anything and your head has gone hot and you're just in this space where you're just not reacting, and then you recognize eventually he is shaking your arm. It's like, Theodore, it's a troll. And he's already like now onto the side and he's gathering up a couple logs and throwing them into this pyre in the middle and trying desperately to light them.
Yeah. Okay. And he's just freaking out. He can't, like, this would be nothing. If this was anything else, this would be nothing, a cakewalk. But he can't remember how to help him strike a freaking stone against another stone to make a dang spark.
Yep.
And he's just, like, stumbling around, like, trying to get some stuff. And, like, you know, maybe, like, Renal was just about to get that, like, just the right one, and Theodore just, like, bumps into him,
Totally.
and so it drops onto the floor instead of to the pyre.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
So you guys
not
are
looking great.
still not quite lighting it, and this thing is about maybe 4 rounds away.
Oh, God.
And you hear this awful, guttural throat howl from it. Just kind of rises up out of it.
Theodore is just, like, trembling, and he's trying to, you know, take another stone, and he sets it, you know, down by his foot and just starts striking it as hard as he can to, you know, his foot in the pyre just to get any type of spark to ignite with it.
Roll survival.
Oh, I did not pick a... This is not a wisdom character.
Yeah, that's enough to... Yeah. A couple of sparks go off, hit the kindling, and whoosh, it goes right up. It's very dry wood. It's kept that way on purpose, right? And it goes up right away. It starts to rise into the center of this thing. The roof is open so the heat can escape. And there's also glass panes set around the top to magnify it, so the whole top ends up glowing orange. So you've set the first pyre, and then after a few seconds you can see other ones going off as they're responding to your signal.
Okay. Good.
2 rounds away.
Renal, we have to engage.
And he's already got his sword, and he looks at it, and the fact that you've sharpened that blade, and he looks at you with this, like, thank you. And he slams it home, and he's like, okay, let's try and get around behind it.
Okay. Theodore will kind of shift his shield over, lock it in place, and then grab his sword out and head on down so that they can kind of weave around.
If you break around north, there's some hills you could go behind. If you break around south, there's some scraggly trees.
Okay. Do you want to split? Take it by surprise?
Okay, you want north or south?
Oh, I can take south.
I'll take north.
Okay.
And he goes and starts walking behind these hills, and I assume you go and start walking behind these trees. Roll me a stealth. Nice. So you start moving around these trees, and they are just the right height for you because they're scraggly, but they're kind of thick and moss-covered at the bottom, so you can kind of work with just the trunks, and you are easily dipping from one to the next. And as you're walking, you're just catching the troll, in between trees as you're walking next to him, and he's just getting about into position, maybe 20, 30 feet away, and he's coming straight down the middle, just like you guys had hoped. And you kind of like back up, and you have your sword, and you get your back against a tree, and you're ready to strike. And as you look over, you see, what was his name? I'm sorry?
Renal?
Ronald. Sorry.
You named
I
him.
know. I just did it 5 seconds ago. It's amazing how bad I am with names. You look over and you see Ronald, and he's like slid up onto one of the hills, and he goes to pull his sword out, and he gets it out, but he slips. His foot's like on some pebbles, and he slips and kind of stumbles, and his sword falls out of his hand and clanks down the hill towards the troll, who turns and growls. Initiative.
Ah, no.
12. Okay. I would say that you go first. Yep, you go first, and the troll goes next, and then Renault. Also, it's nighttime.
I know. Look at the whole little lights.
So, what are you doing?
Stealing myself, because I can't let Renal get hurt, so I have to go in. I have to go in. And I go ahead and I start heading towards it as quietly as possible, so I can kind of get from behind.
Yeah, but it's only about 20 feet, so you could like scamper up behind it quietly and nail it.
Okay.
Yep.
To try to not get it to move any further, I'd like to get as close as possible and slash at one of the like the Achilles heel.
Excellent. I would say roll to hit, and because your stealth was so good, roll with advantage.
Okay. 16
Right. So 16 total?
16 total.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you come up. Describe your action.
So Theodore, is kind of like, keeping low, keeping quiet. He works out every day, so he's got that like quad game on pretty good.
Yeah.
Squat's good, and so he's small, so it helps.
Yeah. Easy to be low to the ground when you're low to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not looking up, which is
Right.
a dumb move. He knows it's a dumb move, but he needs to just be focused on what he thinks is going to be the best course of action. And he gets right up to the leg and just as quickly as possible just slits it.
Roll damage.
That's 5.
Okay.
slashing.
So you cut into it, not quite as deep as you wanted, but you definitely get its attention. So you slice into its leg, you see its knee kind of buckle a bit, and it turns to face you, and when it does, you see that it's burned. Its chest is burned all up, and it goes, there's burn marks over its face. Its one arm is kind of tucked in, and like its hand is bent backwards, again, all burned. And it smells of fire. It smells of smoke. This happened recently. And it just lets out a roar as it looks down at you. Does a 16 hit you?
Oh, 16 will not hit me.
So it just angrily swipes towards you, but you're well trained and you're low to the ground and you manage to dodge and weave right out of the way. As you do that, your friend Rendell, right?
Rental!
Oh, God.
Renald?
Ronald. Why
Is there a
can't I
D at
do
the
this?
Is it Renal?
You know what? It's Rennie. So Rennie.
Yeah, Ren.
Ren. Perfect. Ren runs and grabs his sword up and just tries to stab the thing in the chest. And does not succeed. Close, but just couldn't quite get the balance right and couldn't quite get there in time. So now you guys are on either side of it. It's very aware of both of you. You're hearing some yelling in the distance, a couple soldiers, people are obviously responding to this. So it sounds like you'll have backup shortly, but not right now.
Okay.
What do you do?
I've got to strike again. I'm gonna, because it's still facing me.
Yep.
It's facing me. I'm gonna go ahead and just try to like stab right into the knee. Like it's again just more of a tactical decision.
Take it out its legs.
Take out the legs, disable it so it can't go anywhere.
Nice.
So yeah. That's a nat 20.
Ooh, that is definitely gonna hit. That is totally gonna hit. Why don't you go ahead and roll your damage and then tell me what happens?
Low damage. It's a 1.
Well, you roll it twice.
That's another 1.
Gotta be kidding me. So plus your, that's such a disappointment. So
3.
plus 3. So 5. It's the same damage, even though you rolled a natural 20.
Nope.
That,
Oh, he's so horrified right now.
right, exactly. Just trembling.
He got the point, but
Yep.
it just wasn't enough force
Wasn't
behind
quite
it.
enough.
Yeah.
Go ahead and describe how that went down.
So, Theodore is a very tactical fighter.
Yeah.
He knows he's at a disadvantage for a multitude of reasons, and he just he knows opponents' weaknesses, and this is not the first time that he's encountered a troll. But he also knows that this isn't going to work. But again, if he could just take him down, just do it. And so he just kind of, after like kind of moving to the side, uses that momentum and just slides, swipes his sword towards the knee to try to do something to the joint.
So it wasn't a huge amount of damage. You didn't get the blade in there that deep, but you got it right underneath the kneecap, right underneath that floating joint where the kneecap is. So you hear this weird, loud pop and almost like a hiss of air and a blood-curdling scream as the thing looks down at you with this blade buried into its knee, and it seems angry, and it's going to swipe at you.
Hashtag relatable. I have done that to my knee. Not with a
It's
blade,
the
though.
worst. It's the worst.
It is
isn't
awful. Yeah.
So it swipes at you and misses, and then it kind of leans down and goes to bite you. Does a 23 hit you?
Yeah, 23 is going to hit.
So you, in the same shoulder where you've lost part of your arm, that's gross, dripping, fang-faced teeth, and again, like half its mouth is just burned away, so the gums are open, and you can see the teeth inside. It just tears into your shoulder, and you take 10 points of damage. So it kind of like lifts you up a bit and tosses you back, and you kind of fall backwards 5 feet away, and your sword comes out of its knee, and just your whole shoulder is just torn up. So the same creature, the same injuries.
Yeah. This is not good. Teeter's gonna just kind of lay there for a moment, like just almost like a traumatic flashback, really, because he's been in the mouth of one of these things before. He feels that like that rush of white just kind of coming over, and he just wants to close his eyes and hope that it's gonna be okay and be over.
Who wouldn't, right? Ren sees you go back. You hear him shout no, and like trying to get the creature's attention as he jumps forward and tries to bury a sword into its chest. And it just knocks him to the side. He just can't quite get a hit in there. It is now your turn.
I'm gonna open my eyes, and I'm still here. I can move. I'm not crushed under the weight of a dead troll.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hopefully not ever again. And I can hear like Renaud, kind of like huffing and fighting. And I'm gonna kind of just push up, and I'm not even gonna look. I don't even want to look. I have a duty. I can do this. Okay. And I just go running back in and just try to take a swipe at it again.
Now, you can see that it's been hurt by what you've done, and it was clearly hurt before, so it's not moving as quickly as it first was, and even then, it wasn't moving as fast as you remember trolls moving. Roll to hit.
16.
Yeah, absolutely. You bury it right into it. Roll damage.
Well, it's better. 8.
Yeah, so you just cut like deep into its left side, and again, it just kind of roars and pulls around, and then it goes to grab you. Roll me a opposed strength check and beat an 8.
I got a nat 8.
Nice.
But I have a +3 in strength.
There you go. So you're stronger than you look, A. And B, again, its fingers are kind of marled. One of them is broken and folded back. And as it grabs you, you're able just to slip right out of its fingers as the talons close right around your neck and just kind of scrape ever so slightly against your neck.
It's cruel.
Yeah.
That's so cruel to a kid.
Yeah, it really is cruel. It's terrible, actually. I'm a monster. Your friend jumps in again. Ren gives him another swing. Ren once again misses. You can polish a man's sword, but you can't make him swing it. Yep.
Come on, buddy.
Now, you are now hearing galloping towards you, so you know that people will be here in one round. Approximately.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got one more round. You got to hold this guy off.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and, with my sword, kind of like get high, like kind of jump up towards him and slam the sword in.
Yeah.
Because I know the only way to take these things down, you got to do something with the head.
Okay.
And I'm too short from the ground to do it from there.
Sure.
So I want to climb up on this creature.
Okay.
And using like my sword as like a pulling and then stepping point at some point.
I would like you to roll athletics.
Okay. That's a nat 20.
Okay. So describe how you get up on its back.
All right. So when it turns around, because the Renaud now kind of like taking a strike, Theodore is gonna look for like something high, so like either a fallen tree or something, where he can at least get that extra 2 feet or something.
There are some hills around you, so you could like get up and like really easily, and then kind of come down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And that's He's gonna like take a moment, focus on the surrounding, get up on one of those hills, and just take one of those like awesome running type jumps and just like leap across and then slam the sword into the creature so that he has that vantage point, so that he'll start climbing up on him so he can get to the head.
So you run, you make this leap. The moon is silhouetted in the distance just as you leap across this area, and you see him turning towards your friend, and you land on his back and you drive that sword home, but in its back where the flesh is burnt, there's some sort of like metal shoulder plate, and as you dive into what you thought was flesh, it dings off and it catches you off guard, and your sword just pops out of your hand. You quickly grab onto its back again, and you're up there, but your sword just fell.
Okay.
There's a wave of panic and confusion, and then quickly it seems replaced with cold, steady, confident, unbreakable, and your hand begins to vibrate. Where your hand was begins to vibrate. You can feel it. You can feel your hand. You can feel your arm as if it's right there.
It's not like a phantom thing.
You can feel it. You can feel your fingers open and close. And then you can see around the edges of where your hand should be like a shimmering line, like crystal, sparkling in the moonlight.
What? I reach out hesitantly, but still like I'm in battle, and I touch the creature.
As you begin to reach out, you feel a solidity forming in your arm, and it's forming into a long crystal that forms and narrows and narrows, and your fingers fall together, and then there's a blade, and it's ready. And as your hand is moving forward, you're ready with this blade, and you're confident with it in a way you've never felt before with a sword, even though you're so comfortable with them.
Can I just slice right in then?
Roll to hit.
16.
Yeah. It plunges through this back armor like it was nothing, cuts through it like butter. In fact, it halves the shoulder joint, and it just falls away as it sinks deep into its flesh, and there's a searing bubble as you cut into it. The thing screams and rails back. I would like you to roll damage, and it's damage for a longsword.
That is a 6.
6. Okay, so it starts to like flail and try and get you off it, right? Roll me a strength.
That's a 16, 19.
But you're able to hold on as you are.
It's like in there.
Ren misses again.
Ren.
It is like slightly, but Ren is also screaming, over here, over here, and just arrows just plunge into this creature's chest. It falls onto one knee, and you feel like you could just kind of rip that sword up and end it now.
All right, so bearing in, I just kind of shirk it right up. I mean, like my arm is now inside this creature.
Yep.
And just go. I know where to
Drive
go.
upwards towards the
right
brain.
up towards the brain.
Roll me a strength.
No, I'll get the 1.
Don't get the 1.
Get the 1. No, that's 17. We're good.
Yeah. You are able to cut straight up into this creature's brain. I would like you to roll double damage. So roll double damage for a longsword.
That is 4, 7, 10.
Yeah. You drive it straight into the creature's brain. You feel its back kind of shudder and spasm, and then it drops to its knees, and you are able to pop off, and it collapses in front of you. Within a second, there are men on horseback with torches just surrounding it, chopping it up with axes, just cutting it into smaller pieces and then burning the pieces right away. You see this happening a couple more times around you. There's at least 3 or 4 more fires that have come up around you. The captain of your guard, Captain Leopold. So Captain Leopold is there. And he's on horseback, and he's looking very serious and dour like he usually looks. He has this like kind of long silver mustache thing that like goes down and has like the little dwarf beads, right? Yeah, he's just very he's very, very into his own facial hair. You all right, Theodore? Ren? Yeah, we're fine, right? We're fine. What happened? Well, there's been a troll attack. Seem to have been driven out of the marsh. They're all burned and damaged. I think it could be on purpose. Stay alert. And he, and then, calls the other guys, and they go riding off to another place and you're just left with this burning pile of troll. Yeah.
I'm just going to take a moment to breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're wounded.
I am
really wounded. And Ren's already got out like a medicine pack and everything. And he rolls shitty, so... Damn, Ren.
Go Go back to playing cards.
Seriously, Ren, you are not helpful. So
He knew his place in life.
He's like trying to wrap things around you, but it's like just this massive bandages.
No, stop.
I'm sorry.
Ren,
Okay.
Ren, it's... I'll be okay. I'll be okay. We've just...
You don't look okay, man.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. If like I can't like I look down at my arm.
Yeah.
Is
And
that
as you do,
real? Is
like
it still there?
the diamond is retracting into your arm and vanishing, and like just this glittery dust is left behind. What the hell was that?
I don't know.
He kind of looks and he touches your arm. It's like, you don't know what that was?
I have no idea. Why would I know what that is?
I don't know. Maybe you were holding out, man. I don't know.
If I was holding out, then I wouldn't be here, right?
You have a sword arm. You have a sword for an arm. Maybe you have a magical sword arm. Right? That's what that was, right?
I have no idea. How am I supposed to know? I've never heard of magical sword arms.
I don't know. I've heard of stuff. I mean,
I've heard of magic and... but I'm not magic.
well, you must be. Or someone cast a spell on you? And he kind of looks up, and standing right there is a dwarf in resplendent robes with a large staff, standing maybe 10 feet away from you. It's not quite magic.
Who are you?
Ah, hello. I am, and I can't remember his name. What was his name?
Oh no, what was the dwarf's name?
We just said it earlier. It was like Vesrin or something. Vesrin. We'll just go with Vesrin.
Vera was the lady.
Oh, it was the lady.
I don't remember what the dwarf was.
Oh,
Did I write
shoot.
Oh, I don't have my
That's all right.
thing open.
That's all right. There's a dwarf.
There's a dwarf.
Yeah.
He's a...
Exactly. He's a very dwarfy. It's not quite magic. It's magic-like.
That's fine, but who are you?
Ah, well, and he says his name. And then he puts his staff down. He's like, I am a seeker. I deal with these matters all the time. You were Ren, correct? I think I heard that name. Yeah, I'm Ren. Yeah, it's excellent. No need of you. So carry on. Do your duties. We're just going to talk for a moment. And Ren kind of like looks to you to be like, and you shake your head no.
No.
And Ren's like, no, we're on duty. We have to stay together because we are on watch. Like it's the first time like Ren's ever done that. Like he'd like kind of work it out. Like, is that right? Like, no, that's right. Yeah, we're
That's
on
my
duty.
job.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. And the seeker looks at him. He's like, your loyalty is admirable. However, I have authority here. So you are going to have to give us a moment. And Ren looks back at you and he's like,
On whose authority?
well, on divine authority, actually. All authority. All authority that was ever given and ever will be.
I don't understand.
Okay. And he kind of gestures to a couple rocks around you with a burning troll in the middle of it. And he's, sits down, places the staff over his lap. How can I explain this? You know of the gods.
Yes.
You know of the war.
Yes.
And you know the chaos that came from it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of the Temple of ELVØA? Roll history.
I am a study nerd.
Yeah.
I have a lot of time to read. Oh, yeah. No, that's great. 22.
Oh, yeah. So you've heard of the temple, and you know that the temple is a place where demigods are sent, and they have to go there, but that's pretty much all you know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so would you relate that back to him?
Yeah. I'm familiar with it, but just kind of in passing.
That's actually quite good. You are correct. The Temple of ELVØA is a training ground of sorts for new demigods to decide if they get to live and also if they get to truly inhabit their powers.
Why are you here then?
That's a good question. I am a seeker. I travel the lands in search of young demigods. When a young demigod emerges, when they use their power for the first time, it is like a beacon. We can see it for miles. It's the only time we can. Usually then we have to be close up. About as close as this. And he points his staff towards you, and as it lowers towards you, it begins to glow brightly. And as soon as it gets near you, it glows so bright you have to guard your eyes. Just like that. Yeah. That's how we find you.
So, Are you saying I'm a demigod?
And then over towards the side, Ren's like, what? And, you know, and then also kind of like got a sword half out, right? Like just in case, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, what the hell? What the hell? And the dwarf goes, yes, you are a demigod. Not sure of what yet, but you are one. The arm trick was neat. Wasn't sure if you were going to survive that battle. Glad you did. We're not really allowed to intervene, of course. But it was a good test to find out what you are.
How do we know we can trust you?
You don't. You don't have an option here. And as you're talking, like a couple more of the lieutenants in your army kind of ride up, and they were like, who are you? When he turns, like, well, I am a Seeker. And they both know what that is. Mm-hmm. And they turn to both of you real quickly, and like, what do you have to do with our men? Well, one of them is a demigod. And they just kind of look at each other pale, and one of them orders to go give a report to the commander immediately, and the other one nods and rides away slowly and kind of looks at Ren and gives him like a stay with him order and rides off. See, they know.
I just keep like looking back to Ren, like, help me here, bro. Like,
Ren doesn't know what to do.
What are we supposed to do?
He's so out of his element. He's like, he has no idea. Like everything he said before, he's like, God, I wish it was just normal now. You know,
Right.
Why can't things just be normal?
I want more trolls.
Yeah, please. And he's like, look, I know this is confusing and probably upsetting, but the rules are very, very clear. We find demigods. We bring them to the temple of ELVØA, so that they do not run rampant with these powers they cannot understand or control. This keeps both you safe and those who you live with safe. What if you could not control this arm? What if it gets more? What if you explode in shards and blades in the middle of a market?
Well, I wouldn't want that.
No, no one wants that. So we come and we find you. And we take you to a place where you can learn to use these abilities safely.
So, you're telling me that I have to leave here
Yes.
to go to the Temple of ELVØA
Yes.
because I'm a demigod?
Correct.
Are you sure I didn't die? And he like pokes at his own wound to make sure that it still hurts.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
It definitely hurts.
Yeah, yeah.
It definitely hurts. And he's like, no, you did not die. And he actually lifts up your shirt and sees the wound and places a hand over it and just kind of murmurs for a moment. And there's this warmth and a glow beneath his hand, and you feel your flesh reknit and the pain just slide away. And he moves his hand, and you're fully healed.
That's incredible.
All be thanks to my God.
So you're a demigod too?
No, no, my child. I am simply a loyal follower. And I am blessed with a small amount of power for that loyalty.
Well, thank you.
Of course. Your injuries have been something you have overcome. I can see that. I can see your determination. I can see your fearlessness. You'll need all of that in the temple. I will not lie to you. It will be difficult. However, the journey you are on will provide you with more power and more ability to use that power than anything else could in your entire life.
That's a lot to take in. I mean, I still don't. It seems so unreal, like something out of a fairy tale, lost somewhere in a library that nobody ever reads.
Well, it's going to get weirder. That I can promise you.
So what do I have to do now?
Well, and he stands up, and he gets his staff, and Ren stands up as well. Let's go collect your things.
I have to leave right now?
We're leaving tonight.
Tonight.
Yes, sir.
but he just kind of like looks to Ren, like.
Ren just, again, is just shrugging and everything. It's like, you know, you can speak. It's fine. It's not a thing. You can say your mind here. And he's like, you got to do it. Are you kidding me? What are you even hesitating for?
Hang on. Ren,
No problem. And he steps to the side.
this is my home.
You're not.
My people are here.
We were just. You're a demigod. These aren't your people. I'm not your people. I'm always going to be your friend, but no one here is your people. Don't you understand? You're a demigod.
But going out on adventure or something, that was you. You want that. I'm fine here.
I was never special. You're special.
So I have to go.
You have to. You live and breathe responsibility. You know what that means. You know what it means better than I ever would. You've been given a responsibility. How many of those people are awful? How many of them are selfish? How many of them are horrible? You have to go, and you have to be better. All right, come on, I'll help you get your things.
Thanks,
and
Ren.
the dwarf kind of walks back up. It's like, all set?
Yes, sir.
Your friend's wiser than he looks.
He's a good guy.
You know, if you ever were looking into being a seeker, might be able to use someone like you. I'll leave you my card. And he actually got
Call
one.
me later.
No, he's actually got like these little wooden cards
Oh
that
my
have been,
God,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely. And you can tell that it's clearly like his own thing. Like he
Yeah.
probably sits there and carves
Yeah,
these, right?
sure.
And and like to hand one out would be like 30 minutes of work. So
Yeah.
he hands him this little wooden card, right? And the guy holds it because it's a business card and it means nothing in a land of no phones and emails. And
Yeah.
he's like, I don't understand. And he's like, and there's like his name, right? And there's you know Sika of the ELVÖA, right?
The whole title.
Right. And then there's just this beautiful carving of a bird. Oh, no, sorry. There's a beautiful carving of a dragonfly at the top of it, and he flicks it. Just kind of flicks the card, and as he does, the dragonfly wings began to lift off it and form, and he flicks it again, and they fall back down. It's like, if you ever wish to speak with me, if you ever wish to try something different, flick the card. And he hands it to him. He's like, wow. He's like, that's cool. You know, that is really
Theodore
cool.
just kind of like nudges him
Yeah.
a little hard, you know,
Yeah.
than normal, but like, yeah.
And so Ren's psyched. And Ren walks with you back to your house. Where do you live? Do you live with family? Do you live alone?
I live alone.
You live
in
alone.
the fort, in the barracks.
Right. You live in the barracks. Right. Okay. So Ren walks back with you. This has gotten around by now. So there are, because a fort is, I mean, gossip flies faster on a military base than anywhere else in the world.
So bad.
Because there's nothing to do. So people are bored. So everyone's kind of gathered around. Definitely all the enlisted people are gathered around, kind of looking. No one's really approaching you because you're with the Seeker. At one point, a commander walks up and is like, Seeker, a word, please. And he agrees and walks away where you guys are packing. So what are you doing? Just pack it up?
Yeah, like Theodore's head is just down. He feels like he's in trouble, like he's done something wrong.
Yeah.
Though he hasn't done anything wrong, but
Almost like a punishment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is his life. This is what he loves. Why are you taking him away from this?
Yeah.
He's
Why can't you
good
have
here.
it anymore?
Yeah.
You're just not allowed to have it.
Yeah.
It's like this is no longer an option.
No.
Yeah. And Ren is like
Sucks.
seeing you, like, and he's like, normally you'd be the one that's knocking off all the T's, right? And you know, and dotting all the I's, but he's like reminding you to pack your flint and reminding you to do this, right? Like you love the sweater, you know, and he's like getting you all your things all packed up.
No, it's fine. Just
Where's it gonna go? How long are you gonna be gone?
should have asked that. Darn.
Well, let's just keep packing until he gets back. And as they're saying that, he comes walking back, and he's like, "How's it going? No rush. Just how's it going?"
Fine, sir. But I did have a question.
Of course.
How long will I be gone for? I'll be able to come back, right?
Yes, you will absolutely be able to come back
Oh,
after
that's great.
approximately 4 years.
Oh. Well, I guess that's not too terrible.
It's not forever. And he's a dwarf, so it's like 4 years in
Yeah,
that
I know.
long,
And
so
4 years for a gnome is
Yeah.
like,
it's like, okay.
All right, I'll be 15
like a
by
really-
the time I
yeah.
come back.
It's like a really long summer, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Ren's like 4 years. Okay, well, and he definitely. And then as soon as he hears it, he definitely packs the sweater.
No, Ren. Just the basics. I don't need to bring anything with.
You're gonna be there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Bring everything. Is it okay if he brings a lot? He's like, man, it's fine. We have a whole wagon, and then we're going to a ship. So, yep, pack whatever you wish.
Wait, a ship?
Yes.
Like water ship?
Well, most ships are on water. They're all airships, yes. But in this particular case, we will be taking a large vessel, a stable one. Never been on the ocean before.
No, sir.
Okay, well, this got more fun. Look, pack everything you need. There's plenty of room.
Okay.
Whatever makes you feel comfortable, please bring with you.
He literally everything that Ren packed,
Yeah.
he doesn't take with.
Yeah,
It is like the smallest sack. Like he's wearing everything that means anything to him.
All the basics.
Anything else is just supplies.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He has no tokens of anything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's just the basics. Maybe a couple pairs of underwear and some socks.
Do you have anyone besides Ren you'd say goodbye to?
No.
Okay.
Everybody else has either moved on,
Yeah.
retired.
Right. Dead.
He's dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
he spent 34 gnome years here.
Yeah.
His mom's dead.
Yeah.
His troops all moved on, or they had to retire because they got injured
Right. Because they're human.
because they're human.
Yeah. All right. Then it must be, I can't imagine how weird it would be because Ren is the equivalent of like 19, right?
Yeah,
So
probably.
you're constantly making friends with people as they age up. So when a human is like 14 or 15, you wouldn't be friends with them. Once they got about 17, 18, 19, all of a sudden they become friends and then they quickly age out. But you're constantly hitting this small group of friends, even though you've been around for 5-6 times longer than they
Yeah.
have.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be messed up. So
You get used to it. And
You
you
do.
focus on your duty
You
and your
focus on your duty,
responsibility,
yeah.
and you make sure your weapons are polished, and you become a fixture. Theodore is a fixture. Everybody
He's
knows
well-loved.
Theodore. Yeah.
he's well loved for a series of reasons. One, because he's kind, but two, because you do your shit. And when you do your shit as part of a military unit, when you are the reliable guy, oh, everyone loves that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, then Ren finishes helping you pack, and then you just both kind of stand up, and you're just kind of looking at each other. Does Ren know?
No,
Okay.
probably not. Like
Okay.
once his mom had let that out,
Yeah.
and then a couple years had gone by, and there's
Sure.
like new, so maybe like higher ups know.
Sure.
But at that point, like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
it's just normal. So nope.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
probably not.
Then Ren just kind of stands up and looks at you, and he's like, "Are you gonna be okay?"
I'll be okay. Are you gonna be okay?
And he just kind of smiles a little bit. And he's like, "Well, who's okay when they lose their best friend?
I'm gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you, man." He leans in, leans down, and
There's like the
yeah.
hug.
They don't even do the back pat. It's
No,
like,
no,
it's like a real,
it's
yeah,
a military brotherhood
totally,
hug.
totally.
for
It's
sure.
a real hug. And then he stands back. He's got a hand on your shoulder, and he slaps your shoulder hard once. He's like, "Go be amazing," and he chokes up a bit, and he has to turn, and then he just kind of walks out. He just like walks out.
Before he walks
Yeah.
out, like as he's doing that, I want to just jab him
Yeah.
in the side.
Go, yeah. And he laughs,
Take care of your sword.
and he laughs again. "I promise you, I mostly will." And he walks out.
I believe you.
Yep. Oh, well. And the dwarf just kind of nods, and he's like, "That was nice. You have made some good friends here, Theodore."
These are all good people.
They seem to be. Let's go make you strong so you can protect them in a way you never could before.
Okay.
Excellent. And he stands up, and he like gestures towards the door, and the the recruits that are just come aboard, just hanging out by it, quickly scatter. Right? Yeah. Oh, gee.
Mop it over here.
Yeah, I really was just peeling this potato.
Yep.
And he walks you down the hall, and he starts to talk to you about the fact that years and years ago there were dwarves in this area first, because there were some old mines that were abandoned, and he had relatives here, and there was copper and but they hit like a sulfur deposit. It's like this incredibly long and boring story about mining, basically.
But it's a little, because Theodore is kind of a nerd.
Right.
So he's just like, he's genuinely kind of interested in this stuff.
It's like, oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
238 years ago, and then, So, and they kind of walk out, and there is a carriage just waiting for you.
I'm just going to pause for a moment and turn around and look at the fort in all of its glory.
When you look back, there are, I don't know why I'm breaking up. When you look back, there is Ren, and there are several other of the enlisted people you knew. Right? And they're all standing on the wall, and they've all got torches up, and they're all just holding them and quietly watching you.
Theodore's just going to tear up and just turn around and start walking.
All right.
Just quiet tears.
The Seeker opens the door for you. You both step into the wagon. It starts off, and we're going to stop right there.